Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse and your Pharaoh of Physical Media, Robert Meyer Burnett. And this is, of course, Let's Get Physical Media episode. I think it's like 188. And the first thing that I want to talk about is, of course, as newly elected President Trump has been getting rid of all kinds of DEI initiatives. I think it was very smart of Skydance and Paramount to start special Star Trek for creators who are developmentally challenged to be able to come in and work on a 59-year-old, once profitable franchise and bring their special brand of creativity to Star Trek. Because why should only talented and very creative and very intelligent and sci-fi savvy creators get to work in one of the great franchises? Why does everybody who's capable and in a meritocracy, why should people who are good at their jobs have all their fun? So now we have special Star Trek for you people who don't have to put in the work, don't have to be very smart, and guess what? Whatever you want to throw up on the screen, they'll make. So I think we live in a great world, and if it bodes well for the future, boy, maybe even I can work on special Star Trek. That said, everybody, your favorite German, my favorite German, everybody's favorite German, who's a lot smarter than people made Section 31 are, Mr. Dieter Bastian.
Well, Rob, Donny T is in the Oval Office, and his executive orders, he already failed the American public that he did let this movie see the light of day. That he didn't sign the executive order, that this would not have been shown to the public. So he immediately failed the whole wide world. What a piece of trash, Rob.
Dude.
Section 31 was. I couldn't believe it. And I am not bringing all your baggage with it. Considering against you, I'm just a casual Star Trek fan. So I was just thinking, okay, if I get some nice space battles, some nice space adventure, perhaps I have a good time, but holy moly. Crap on a cracker. Even if you would take Star Trek out of Section 31, it was atrocious. 2 out of 10 for me, Rob.
You know,
can go on.
IGN gave it 2 out of 10 because they said we were going to give it a 1, but Michelle Yeoh had a couple of cool kung fu moves, so we'll give it a 2.
2, okay. Unbelievable. What can you do? But we have more stuff. We have the Oscar nominations. Were there any surprises for you, considering the nominations?
Yeah, you know, I think that Challengers was kind of snubbed.
Yeah.
I think that the score, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross's score, was snubbed. I think Dune 2 had less of a showing than I would have liked. You know, one of my favorite YouTubers, Impression Blend, Mariana Neal, I mean, she shared my pain about Dune 2. Maybe it came out earlier in the year. I mean, look, there was a lot of really interesting films.
I think, Rob, I've seen her video. I think I've seen that, where she goes over the nominations and, oh, where's my Dune? I think I've seen that.
I'd like to go over her nominations, let me tell you. Oh, wait.
Yeah. And I did pick up on some stuff that I haven't seen yet to caught up with the nominations. Wait, let me just see where it is. I watched Rob Nosferatu, finally. It's out digital now, and it's already out as the extended cut on digital. So I have seen it, Rob, and there's a problem with Nosferatu.
Uh-oh.
In 2025, after we have that much iterations of vampires, to make a vampire scary is tough. When we think about what we do in the shadows and all that stuff. So for me, it would have been great, considering like Nicholas Hoult played, how terrified he was when I could have gotten a fraction of that for myself. So for me, unfortunately, Rob, it was not really chilling. And then you have, of course, main protagonist, our Nosferatu, going like, sign the papers because I need Schloss Grünewald for my operations. It's a little bit the line of parody silliness. It's really on the border of that. Or you have Aaron Taylor Johnson go, God damn it, woman, get a hold of yourself. So tonally, it was a little bit uneven for me. Visually great, and I think the 4 Oscar nominations are well deserved that the movie has gotten. Totally in the right categories for me. So for me, I would still give it a 6 out of 10. But for me, it was, and William Dafoe was just William Dafoe. So for me, it wasn't that thrilling, considering to do a vampire movie and make a vampire scary today. It's a tough one.
It is.
For me.
No, you're right. I liked it. I mean, I thought it was atmospheric. It might be my least favorite Robert Eggers movie.
Me too.
I mean, I love The Northman, but I really love The Witch. The Witch was a stunning debut, and I've talked a lot about how I admire the atmosphere that he was able to create. So,
and Lighthouse lived on his weirdness, just being weird.
yeah, totally. But I quite enjoyed it. Now, there's a couple. There's something I want to article I'd like to read from Media Play News, because I've been getting a lot of commentary about this.
Okay.
This was published on January 25th, today. There was a press release that went out saying Sony was ending Blu-ray disc production.
Yeah.
False alarm, says Eric Grunwald, Eric Grunwedel for Media Play News. On January 23rd, Sony issued a press release announcing it would cease the production of Blu-ray disc media, mini discs for recording, MD data for recording, and mini DV cassettes effective in February. There will be no successor models. We would like to express our sincere gratitude to our many customers for their patronage to date, read the release. Some media outlets throughout the world took the notice to mean Sony was ending production of Blu-ray discs for movies and TV shows sold in the U.S. and other markets. I know this was true because I got a lot of people asking me about it. Turns out it was a false alarm. Yes, Sony is discontinuing Blu-ray disc production in Japan, but not globally. In a separate media statement, Sony clarified that in Japan, it has long had a market for recording TV shows on blank Blu-ray discs, which has now declined. We sell blank storage Blu-ray discs for this use in Japan. The subject products of this notification are these discs. No other products by Sony Pictures or Blu-ray players sold by Sony are the scope of this notification, they said in the statement. The Blu-ray disc format was developed by the Blu-ray Disc Association, a Los Angeles-based group representing consumer electronics manufacturers, computer hardware, and Hollywood studios. Sony bowed the first Blu-ray disc production prototypes in October of 2000, and the first prototype player was released in Japan in April 2003, followed by a worldwide release on June 20th, 2006. So there you go.
Okay.
Also, we got a letter.
It's still good. Yeah. Just quick. Tim Hens is in the live chat, and he asked how much longer is the extended cut of Nosferatu? It's just 3.5 minutes.
Yeah,
I was expecting 20 minutes or something. It's just 3.5 minutes.
Got a letter from Seth Armstrong, Dietz.
Oh,
Seth
nice.
Armstrong writes us and says, "Greetings, imagination connoisseurs, imagination gourmets, and or gourmands. And to the Pharaoh of physical media, I bow, kneel, prostrate myself before you. Well, my son, I will accept your offering, whether it's your soul or something else. I salute the 4K Führer, her Bastian, keeper of physical media culture with a K. I just want to say I love the show, and you've inspired me to up my game in the physical media department. I have to admit, until recently, I was one of those fucking assholes who was still buying DVDs. Well, thank you for changing your ways. Somehow, I was satisfied with my ancient 720p TV and mere DVDs, and here you guys are, quaffing rare vintages, and I'm down in the cheapest plonk. But you physical media pushers have inspired me. I recently got a 4K TV, a 4K player, a sound system, the whole shebang. And I wanted my first 4K purchase to be Black Mama, White Mama, which I've heard is pure heat. Look, any man who quotes my own film back to me, you're a good man. But I had to settle for it on Blu-ray. But I got the 4K Pulp Fiction. Geez, Dieter, is Black Mama, White Mama out in 4K?
I don't think so.
Is there a German media book of the Blu-ray?
Yes, there is.
Okay.
Yes, there is.
And who has that?
I think you and I do.
Yes, we do. All the way from Germany. But I got the 4K Pulp Fiction. But did you get the 4K Jackie Brown from Lionsgate Limited?
Lionsgate Limited.
Go to their website right now and purchase it. When the say that tell Lisa Stevenson Rob Burnett sent you. But you physical media pushers have inspired me. I already read that. When the U.S. absorbs Canada, I would vote for George Felsenstein as the first film czar. Unless, like the Supreme Court, the film czar is appointed for life and to leave him unfettered, able to avoid bowing to the public opinion, and slave only to one master, that of physical media. Keep up the good work of promoting the culture of physical media collecting until the end of your rotten lives, you motherfucking physical media pushers. That's a reference to coffee, for people not in the know. Coffee is another Pam Grier banger. But I have a feeling this audience knows. Promoting and supporting the collection of physical media is our common struggle, or our struggle, as Dieter might say in the singular, Mein Kampf. You're a bad man. You are a bad man. And I'm a Jew, no less. But that's okay. There's so much Jew hatred in the world today. Why not make Mein Kampf jokes? It's all good. And in the new year, may all your cats in the bag be Schnäppchens and not Mumpets.
Mumpets. Yeah.
Mumpets. What does that Mumpets means? Service.
Mumpets means just, it's nothing, Rob. Nothing.
That is from Seth Armstrong. Seth, you're a good man, and that was a funny, funny letter. So thank you for that.
And to all other viewers, my heart goes out to you, like Elon did it.
It's true. It is true. My God.
And besides Nosferatu, Rob, another movie that I think gotten 2 Oscar nominations, or I think even in 3. I watched The Wild Robot, and in the words of Robert Meyer Burnett, it's just fine for me. It was very predictable how the story would go. So a fine movie, but I couldn't quite get into the hype of it. And I watched Rob Night Beach with Amy Adams. And it's very strange for me to rate the movie, because on one day I would give it a fresh, and on another day rotten, considering the topic of the movie. But I had some good laughs in it. But perhaps if you are a mother, I think you enjoy being a mother, perhaps you're not quite enjoying Night Beach and what she is maternally going through. So, and I read on IMDb, Rob, at first it was actually a movie made exclusively for streaming before it went to the theaters. But I think it's perfectly serviceable as a streaming movie. So these were the stuff that I have watched digitally.
I have another letter.
Okay.
By our friend Chris Linsky, who wrote about getting feed at the video store. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you choke.
I haven't got mine yet. I'm waiting on it.
I got another box coming from... By the way, they were sold out at Diabolic DVD. So if you want to go get it, go to Unearthed Films. Go to the Unearthed Films website and pick it up. So you remember last week I talked about a movie with Brian Brown and Mimi Rogers that was directed by Nicholas Roeg called Full Body Massage.
Okay, yeah, correct.
And I watched the trailer, and beautiful Mimi Rogers is like naked the whole time and Brian Brown is kneading her gorgeous body, and there's a lot of shots of Mimi Rogers' great ass in. By the way, last week's show got demonetized.
What did we do, Rob?
I don't know. Probably I talked about Mimi Rogers' ass, and they demonetized. Limited ads. I always ask for, but they're getting stricter. I mean, I don't understand. This show has been running for 4 years. Everyone knows how we talk. We talk about exploitation cinema in an exploitation sort of a way, not like in Section 31 Special Olympics way, but you know what I mean. Certainly. Oh, see, I just got demonetized right there. How dare you? How dare you make fun of the Special Olympics? Well, it's better than making Section 31.
What do you want?
So, Chris Linsky says, hello, RMB.
Yeah.
Here's a quick note regarding full body massage. I remember seeing this movie in a theater. I remember I received free tickets. I remember Brian Brown mashing Mimi Rogers' breasts, mimicking a pastry chef kneading challah dough for what seemed like 10 minutes. And that's all I remember about this film. It's a far-flung memory from Chris. Maniac Magnet. I get it. Instead of mammary.
Okay.
That's a little twist of phrase you probably don't. I probably didn't sell that one really well, but there you go. So, Chris, thanks for the info. I'd never heard of full body massage, but all you have to do is watch the trailer, and I'm like, I'll watch that. You go, Nicholas Rogue. Hey, he was married to Teresa Russell, and my ex-wife looked just like Teresa Russell, so I feel a kinship with Nicholas Rogue. So there you go. Anyway.
Fit.
Yeah. I have a letter from Major Chai Chai about Section 31, but I'm going to save that one.
Okay.
For observations.
Special ready observations.
Telling you.
Yeah.
Telling you.
We did get some super chats in.
Already?
Yeah.
Well, let's see what's going on with the... Wow, we have got a lot of super chats have been flying in. Thomas Logan says, we've officially lost Robert Eggers, creatively bankrupt at 41. He went from a stellar art house body of work to tired, studio-backed concepts and tropes. Come on, man. You give him another chance, buddy. I'd say he earned our love. He's 70. You know what? If you've got 75%, you're hitting cooking with gas. You still got a great record in baseball. Come on now. Come on.
If you're sidestepping with Thomas Logan, it's over, Rob. It's over.
I know. He's very uncompromising in his beliefs.
Yeah.
Torn to Watch Studio says, Blu-rays and 4Ks are the standard. The only DVDs you should be buying are Warner Archive. Well, even Warner Archive, has moved, to 4K. George Feltenstein and the Searchers, man. Come on. George Feltenstein for National Film Czar, everybody. Let's start that letter writing campaign to Trump. I used to think nothing like that is possible. I think now anything is possible. You just never know what executive orders he's going to sign, especially in California, when 75% of our farm workers are no longer going to show up to work. What do you do?
With the movie ambassadors he's getting into office, so perhaps George Felsenstein is the next one.
Yeah.
He should be.
Paul Allen Bernotto says, hello, boys. Oh. My downstairs area is finally remodeled, and for my birthday on the 23rd, I got a new 75-inch 4K TV with bells and whistles and a Sony UBP X800 M2 4K player. Paul, why would you want a TV with bells and whistles? They'll rattle when your subwoofer comes. You don't want bells and whistles in your home theater. No. Unless you have a whistle whistle. Where's your wife? Honey, I'm starting the movie. Maybe that's what you need.
Hopefully his player is code-free, Rob. Paul, is your player code-free?
Could be.
You can finally watch Bang, Boom, Bang.
Secular Monk says Denis Villeneuve was snubbed for Best Director. I agree, but you know what? It is a sequel. But yes, I agree. I mean, hey, because Emilia Perez that's the movie to beat, right?
Certainly. Have you, Rob, seen it? I still haven't.
I have. I watched it.
Okay.
It's on Netflix.
Okay. Yeah. But it's not on Netflix here, Rob. It's on Netflix in the US.
Okay, here's what I would say about that movie.
Okay.
I don't know if it's a best picture contender. And I know that the entire country of Mexico is up in arms about how they're portrayed, which I can understand. But it's pretty wacky, and I would say that I enjoyed watching it. I mean, did I love it? No. I thought I thought it was kind of trying to force its cult movie status on us.
Yeah.
But I understand. I ain't saying it should be nominated for Best Picture, but I understand.
I still haven't seen it, but I need to. I want to be part of the Emilia Perez conversation.
Yes. Castle Grace Skull says, "Happy birthday, the Burnettwork. Happy birthday, Dieter Bastian. Canada is not for sale. Everything is for sale. Everything has a price. Greenland, Canada. I mean, we can't even keep our own infrastructure safe, and we want to buy other countries? I mean, come on. We'd rather just change the name of things on maps rather than earn it. If we want to change the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, we have to take over Mexico."
Rob, don't put ideas in his head.
Look, man, I'm, maybe Special Star Trek will turn into Special America.
Yeah.
You don't have to be talented and capable anymore. We'll just give you a shot.
Yeah.
200 Watt Studio says Warner Archive DVDs are still high quality until they reissue them in Blu-ray, which they are doing. I know, we got both Don't Be Afraid of the Dark and Bad Ronald in Blu-ray. We got Bad Ronald in Blu-ray. And of course, let's talk about George Feltenstein's crowning achievement other than The Searchers, which is really his crowning achievement at Warner Archive, but two different versions of the Bermuda Depths. You got the 133 TV version. Woohoo! And come on, that was memeable. Well, they're gone. But anyway, yeah, it's all good. But you're right. It's true.
Yeah.
Also, I do want to say that we have a new member, Slisnide. I'm not getting this right.
Slicenide.
Yeah, Snide. Slicenide is he's a new member of the channel, or they're a new member of the channel. She.
As far as I know.
Slicenide.
You have to be careful.
Slicenide is
careful these days.
I can't. You know what? Someone's gonna get someone. That's why we're all devolving. We can't. Slicenide's a great name. A great name. So I can't even say words anymore. I can't.
And Rob, one thing that I wanted to ask you, since you are on the John Campea show again, do you drive by any of the
fires? No.
Burnt? No.
No. No. Secular Monk said thoughts on Sony stopping production of all recordable Blu-ray devices. Well, we covered that. Looking forward to the next episode of True Noir. Happy birthday, Rob. Well, thank you. Episode 5 should be available now. Tower Town and Magic City. We go to Miami, where the big rally that Anton Cermak is going to try and curry favor, get patronage from FDR. Chris Carr has a sex scene in episode 5. It's all good. Woohoo! You can go to True Noir.
After the nitty-gritty, it's really getting nitty-gritty now.
The nitty-gritty is happening. It's the so yes. And then, of course, next week, episode 6 is Welcome to Miami, Mr. President. FDR shows up in Miami. What's going to happen? Don't know. Also, for those of you who are subscribers, I hope you're watching the great video series, True Noir, The History Behind the Mystery, where it's a video series where Max Allen Collins takes you behind each episode of True Noir into the real history of what actually happened. And it's good stuff. And, of course, Michael Rosenbaum continues to kill it. Barry Bostwick, who has a tenuous... I got to tell you, it just happened this way. There are 3 different actors or 3 different people represented in True Noir that happen to be in the news of this show this week.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice tie-in. Nice tie-in.
I mean, you know what? Everything ties into True Noir. True Noir is the Kevin Bacon of audio dramas. Everything is 6 degrees away from True Noir, which I delightfully discover on a daily basis, as I did today prepping the news.
Nice to know.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we're almost a half an hour into this show. Should we show some physical media?
Okay, who starts, Rob?
You can start. You have more than me.
Okay. First one is just an exchange disc for the Alfred Hitchcock box set. It wasn't even for me necessary to do this, but I got the replacement disc because the Birds was missing the German dub track. So they got a replacement disc because it is the German edition. So I thought, okay, I'm using this exchange program even if I wouldn't need the German dub version. But I got it. Then the only thing that I forgot to talk about, Rob, considering streaming stuff, I've finished season 2 of Special Ops Lioness and totally still have a blast. I don't know how Taylor Sheridan can write this many shows with this high of a quality. And I got the first season on Blu-ray because I totally forgot to buy it, but I got the first one. 3 discs.
You know what? I'd love to comment just for a minute what you said about Taylor Sheridan.
Sure. Yeah.
You know how Taylor Sheridan is able to do things like write and direct Hell and High, or write Sicario, write Hell and High Water, write and direct Wind River, make Tulsa King, make Lioness, make Yellowstone, make 1923. You know why? Because he's not a special needs creator like everybody involved with Star Trek Section 31 is. See what happens when you can actually do your fucking job?
He's probably the best horse in Paramount's stall at this
Taylor
this point.
Sheridan could write a better Star Trek script on his lunch hour than the idiots who wrote Section 31.
He has even a small role in the second season. I don't know if he was in the first season, but I totally had a great time with the second season too, because it was not just a simple rinse and repeat, which he could have done, because the mission got some sidetracking and it went in a different direction, which I totally appreciated. I would totally be fine doing same stuff, but it was a little bit different.
By the way, before you go on, I just want to say, because it's an answer to your question. Paul Allen Bernotto says, yes, Dieter. It plays Region B Blu-rays.
Ooh.
My TV is Dolby Vision IQ HDR, Dolby IMAX Enhanced, Dolby Atmos, DTS Virtual X, Motion Rate 480, and local dimming.
So the only thing you do, Paul, is watch Bang, Boom, Bang now.
Just you better calibrate that shit, son. Get a calibration disc if you're going to do it yourself, or pay somebody to come calibrate it properly.
Exactly. The other show that I got, because I quite enjoyed, the Continental, the John Wick series.
Oh, there you go.
All right. Lionsgate, from Lionsgate in the UK, Rob. The Continental.
Nice.
Next one from Shaggy, from Play On, which put out the other one, but this is Mr. Nice Guy with 2 versions of the movie, the theatrical cut and the longer, probably Hong Kong version, is on it too, with Richard Norton. Still remember a little bit from the DVD days. Oh, a lot of text, not a lot of pictures here actually. So, Mr. Nice Guy, 2 Blu-rays, 2 versions. Or let me just see if this is perhaps only a DVD. No, it's 2 Blu-rays, long version and theatrical version. Mr. Nice Guy. 2 steelbooks, which were price reduced, so Schnäppchen. And Rob, I don't know if you have them too or show them. I'm still not sure about the design. Bridge on River Kwai and the Guns of Neverone.
I have them both, and I like the Bridge on the River Kwai steelbook. I do.
Okay. One after the other. So, of course, it comes with 4K.
That movie, by the way, is
Blu-ray
so
from
good.
Sony.
So good.
But not really anything inside on the steelbook, but they were nicely price reduced. And I said, okay, I jump on the chance to get them. The Guns of Neverone. So, I will... Where do I continue? It's gotten not good reviews. It's a January movie, but I'm a fan of Frank Grillo, so I got the 4K here in Germany. Came out of werewolves.
But Stephen
Oh.
Miller, who made that movie, is a really nice guy.
Oh, okay. Nice. Nice to know, Rob. Nice. That's nice. How did you know him, Rob? A little bit
I met him
before?
through a girl I was dating about 10
Okay.
years ago named Adrian Biddle, who produced
Oh.
movies like The Black Coat's Daughter and Brian
Nice.
Bertino's
That's a nice one.
Monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. The next one, Rob, you already had on the news section, but I forgot about it. But there's always a good thing for me to go through the live chat and get reminded of stuff. And Albital reminded me of Takeshi Miike's Fudo.
Dude,
So I finally-
did you watch it?
No, Rob, it came today.
But have you ever seen it?
No, Rob, I have
Okay.
not seen Fudo.
You got to put that on the top of your pile.
Okay.
And I want you
tomorrow.
I want you to report back next week because
I'll
I
do that.
think, as you would say, you're going to have a blast with that.
Okay. Because Albital reminded me in the live chat. He spoke about it, and then I said, "Oh, I forgot to order that Fudo movie from Takeshi Miike." But just
That was my
This-
first Miike movie I ever saw.
okay. No, I think mine was really Ichi the Killer. Was the first.
I saw Ichi the Killer afterwards. All I can
Fudo.
tell you, dude, 2 words. Strip club. That's all you need to know.
Okay. All I need to know. Okay. I will keep that in mind, Rob. Not a steelbook. One of my favorite movies of last year was actually Smile 2, the sequel, which I quite enjoyed even more than the first one. And no, the worst thing with Naomi Scott was not product placement. It was the similitude product placement.
Yes.
So we got the 4K, Blu-ray, nothing much to it. And I'm still not sure if I would have preferred a steelbook with Naomi Scott on the front, but we got the Son of Jack.
I mean, that's a
So
pretty great.
That's good too.
That's a pretty great cover, though. I mean, I love
Okay.
Naomi Scott, but that's a pretty great cover.
Yeah, exactly. Smile 2. So this is a little bit of my first haul for this week.
Okie doke. Well, okay, I got to tell you,
Yeah.
there is a company that I've been buying from for a long time called Grindhouse Releasing. And it was basically co-founded by Sylvester Stallone's late son, Sage Stallone, and
Yeah, he was
Bob
big into
Murawski.
horror movies.
Yeah, and Bob Murawski, the editor. And I think the first thing I bought from them was the Cannibal Ferox Laserdisc. And they had put out a film that I was reading about that I really knew nothing about. It was kind of legendary. They played it once at the New Beverly. And it was Hollywood. Well, it's called Hollywood 90028. Is it 28 or 26? No, it's 28. And I really wanted to get this movie after reading about it. Now, I've not watched this yet, but not only does it come with a slipcase, it has a really interesting story. It's got a reversible cover.
Nice.
It comes with Basil Polidoris did the score. It comes with a CD.
Okay.
Basil Polidoris, who did like
Nice.
RoboCop,
RoboCop.
and Conan.
And
It's got great liner notes, which I actually sat down and read all these liner notes last night. Can't wait to watch this. Really, really interesting. So I did go to get this specifically. This was the second thing I wanted to buy from them. I also picked up this movie from the Jerry Gross organization, the deluxe uncensored cut of I Drink Your Blood. I have another version of this. I can replace it with this. The Drugs Are Bad hippie movie where they become basically murderous. They're murderous people on drugs. This was the very first bootleg videotape I ever watched in 1980. Was this movie.
So
I saw
nostalgia.
my friend Bud Warner. He was showing me wildly inappropriate movies, but God bless you, Bud Warner, and you too, Steve Pitcher, if you're out there. I don't know where they went. I don't know where Bud Warner is because that was 45 years ago. Thank you for showing me a bootleg videotape of I Drink Your Blood. But most of all, Bud, you got me my first bootleg video cassette, which was, of course, Dawn of the Dead. Thank you. But he showed this to me in his house on his projector, so I had to pick this up. But this is the first of 2 Grindhouse Releasing also put out.
Did you purchase them on their website? Do they
Yes.
have a website?
Yeah,
Okay.
I went to their website. But what I really went there to get was Impulse. William
nice.
Shatner's. He plays a psychotic killer. When the demons of evil take all powers of reason, I mean, only impulse remains. So come on, it's got a reversible.
Isn't there an Arrow release in the UK for it?
Yeah, I believe there is. Reversible cover.
Nice.
It might be a different movie. I don't know. But, these
I'm
Grindhouse.
not sure at the moment.
I mean, look, first of all, let me show you this. If nothing else, if you're the kind of Shatner fan that I am, this comes with this piece of artwork. This alone is worth the price of admission. I want to blow this up and frame it. I mean, that is vintage 70s Shatner right there. Actually, it would be 60s. Oh, no, it's not. Is it not? I think it might be 70s. I'm not sure. It is 70s. 70s William Shatner. We get 60s William Shatner next. But so I did pick up these 3 from Grindhouse Releasing. I'm really excited to watch this. So looking forward to that one. So that was my first. A little package from Grindhouse Releasing. Nice. And by the way, again, great shipping, great service. Grindhouse is great. They got a lot of. I mean, really, they go really obscure. I mean, that Hollywood film. There's like one print of it. Actually, it's interesting. The both that movie and a movie I'm going to show are incredibly rare. So to have companies like Grindhouse and what's also I'm going to show that Arrow did, it's amazing to have certain things that Arrow has put out along with Grindhouse.
Then Rob, if you showed some Grindhouse stuff, let me add 2 titles from my haul this week from Severin, which came with a sticker from them.
I love. Did you buy directly from the website? You must have, right?
Yeah. This.
How great is Severin? Can we have a Severin? Yeah. They're in the news this week. Severin, it seems like every week Severin is putting out. Severin should send me free shit. I'm just saying, but it seems like every week Severin is putting out something great.
Yeah.
And
this one you brought to my attention because we are between us, Rob, our R and R genre that we love, and you said, Dieter, please get this title. Night Train Murders. I got.
Have you watched that?
Movie. Yeah. Before I did my setup. Totally enjoyed it, Rob. Really great. Yes, it is a ripoff of The Last House on the Left, but with totally own unique stuff added to it. And for me, Rob, just the beginning. Have you seen it, Rob?
Oh, yeah.
For me, just the beginning, being in Munich 50 years ago, I didn't know that the movie would be playing in Germany, and they took the train from Germany to Italy. That I didn't know. So just seeing the old stores, Karstadt and something like that, for me, it was that great time capsule. 50 years go back, being in Munich on the Christmas market. So the beginning alone was
before
great.
There was terrorism.
Yeah, exactly. And then, considering this was probably a video nasty, there is one scene in the movie, Rob, that has nothing to do with the R&R stuff, which probably would have get the movie in some trouble, considering here. The compartment?
Oh, yeah.
Old people,
dude, that movie is brutal.
Yeah.
I mean...
And where the old people are sitting together, the old comrades, and don't give anything away. They have their Elon moment, in that compartment. And I was thinking, okay, we're going there. Okay. So it comes with different cover underneath it. And Rob, I just love the tagline because, as we all remember, Last House on the Left had the famous tagline. Remember,
it's only a movie.
Great. It's only a movie.
It's only a movie.
Just a movie.
Just keep saying it.
Yeah. And here it says, don't know if I can get it.
Here, let me go
focus.
full frame. Hang on. You can tell yourself it's only a movie, but it won't help.
What great of a tagline is that, Rob? That totally got me.
Dude, they don't make movies like that anymore.
Certainly not, Rob. Certainly not. It has even a third cover variation.
Yeah,
considering that tagline.
Yeah. Although that
I had
cover is
to
great.
use that. Yeah, I had to use that because the tagline for me sold it, and I was quite enjoying the transfer up, considering they did go back to a camera negative on it. Of course, there are some changes in quality, but as a whole, really nice one. And it comes with the movie in 4K on the Blu-ray, and it even has a soundtrack, and you get the soundtrack listing in it
Yeah.
too. So Rob, nice recommendation from you. This was certainly a video nasty from back in the day. I don't know, Rob. It's probably have never gotten a release in Germany. I can't remember it, that it even gotten a release in Germany. And it has many different titles, the movie.
Yeah.
I think, let me just see if they are listed here. Also known as Last Stop on the Night Train, The New House on the left, Second House on the left, Don't Ride on Late Night Trains, Last House Part 2, and Christmas Massacre are just a few titles which this movie
Night Train Murders is still the best title.
Yeah, exactly. And the other one from Severin, which were in the package, which I remember, Thomas Logan, that sent me the Blu-ray because we didn't know this would come out. I got from Brandon.
Oh yeah, I got to order that.
Anti-viral. It comes with the.
I really like that movie. That movie's wild, man. That was Brandon. That's David Cronenberg's son's first feature.
Yeah, and we get it in 4K, the theatrical cut, normal Blu-ray, and the Cannes cut. I don't know what's different about the Cannes cut, but we get it on Blu-ray, and pretty thick actually, pretty thick booklet about Cronenberg and his what is it called? Wait,
Pharmacon.
Communicable cinema of Brandon Cronenberg. So antiviral in 4K. Just to add the titles that you showed from Grindhouse, because the two Severin titles I think were pretty fitting with those titles too. Antiviral. From Severin. So I think we got some new super chats in.
Do we? Let's see.
Yeah, I think so.
Paul Allen Bernardo. Oh, we just won. He says it's already calibrated and it looks fantastic. That's good. That's good. I'm glad it's already calibrated. You got to calibrate that TV. It's very important to do that. And let me just make sure. Hold on. That 200 Watt Studio says, Rob, I've been waiting for your take on the Section 31 streaming film. Thoughts?
There will be certainly an observation about that.
You know what? Here's the thing. I don't even know if I should do one. I've been thinking about it. I
told you, Rob, it's not worth anyone's time.
No, it really isn't. And you know, I don't. Even I don't want to. You know, I do think that the special needs kids need time to. I don't want to beat up. I don't want to be a bully. They have to go through life. Everybody who was involved with Section 31 has to go through life with that on their resume.
Yeah. Shame.
That's
Shame.
pain enough. Yeah.
Shame.
Yeah. Yeah. And so does Paramount and CBS and Skydance. They allowed that swill to be made. And what does that say about the state of a franchise? I mean, and Alex Kurtzman made that. I understand he probably owed it to the studio because they spent a bunch of money developing it. But it's, you know, if they memory hole Batgirl, if Warner Brothers says we're not going to release this, I understand.
This can't be that bad. This can't be. It can't be that bad. There's no chance. No chance. But what do we know? Okay.
It just made me sad. It made me sad.
Yeah.
It made me sad that I live in a country, you know, luckily, you know what? It was made in Canada. So I blame America's hat. You know, every time I think if I ever get an opportunity to make something in Canada, and I love Canada, love it, I have to stop and think, man, they made Section 31 and Discovery in Canada.
Your script only needs to be exposition dump after exposition dump, Rob. Nothing more, you know?
Yeah, how about a bunch of stupid characters? Like, not the concept, but the characters within the movie are stupid. Here's a good one. If you're going to make a spy thriller, make all of your characters really smart. Let's start there.
And that's what I love about Linus, Rob. There are people that are good at their jobs.
They're good at their jobs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and when you're starting with writers that can't write, a director that can't direct, an executive producer who can't executive produce, a cinematographer that doesn't turn the lights on, a production designer who doesn't know his way out of a paper bag or her way out of a paper bag. I don't know any. It's just when you're there, my God, Charlie Band made movies like Eliminators that were way more entertaining than Section 31. It just,
and since I haven't seen Star Trek in a long time, Rob, considering the new stuff, I totally forgot how bad the designs are for the spacecrafts.
Dude, everything about that show. I'm telling you, every kid. Section 31 is the ultimate example of every kid gets a trophy when they're growing up. Yeah. There's no more meritocracy in this country. I don't know who got those jobs, but did they take the kids that, the low IQ Rob, kids? Like I said, special needs Star Trek. I'm just going to call it special Star Trek.
Is this just a pilot? Will there be more?
There was going to be a series, and I think what they did was they cannibalized the scripts that were written for the series and turned them into this movie because they kind of had to, or something they had to deliver or whatever. I mean, you know what? You could have just taken a show where Michelle Yeoh, you could have just had her, it could have been a flashback show, or if Michelle Yeoh is just sitting in a chair telling us a story about her film career in Hong Kong, and you just called it Section 31, and you find out that in continuity, Michelle Yeoh in our world is actually Empress Georgiou from the Mirror Universe, and she's been hiding here, and like this is the Prime Universe and where she's from, and you just had her sitting in a chair on a blank set, like it's just a white psych, it would have been more interesting than the garbage that they gave us.
Yeah. Definitely.
And people are going to say, oh, it's not that bad. No. Mediocrity is worse. You've got 59 years of Star Trek. You have section. You know what? These people have never watched the Deep Space Nine episodes. I mean, there's only a few. Section 31 was introduced in Deep Space Nine in the episode Inquisition in the 6th season. I mean,
with tied to True Noir, William Sadler, Rob.
Well, okay. This is what I was going to say. William Sadler. Here's the thing. I've been slaving over. I went out and teamed up with a novelist, an incredible writer in Max Allan Collins. And what did I do? I had him adapt his own novel. I was given 10 great scripts. Now, it's not a spy thriller necessarily, but it does have an intriguing criminal plot. It's got an assassination. It's got a sprawling set of characters. It's historically interesting. I got to direct 25 name actors, including Bill Sadler, who brought to life Sloane in the very first episode that involves Section 31, Inquisition, from Deep Space Nine's 6th season. So there you go. William Sadler and I got him. They don't. I directed the actor that started Section 31 in my own audio drama.
Exactly.
But then they gave us something that like on a scale of 1 to 10, our audio drama is off the scale compared to Section 31. I mean, it's just like, how is it that I can work with one writer and I can make something 10 times better than modern Star Trek? You know what that says? That means if I and Max Allan Collins were working together, we could make Star Trek that's 10 times better than Section 31.
Easily. Because there's
but
no
then again, so could my 6th grade drama class could have made something better than Section 31. We put on the HMS Pinafore. That was the year after we did Pirates of Penzance. And I played Major General Stanley. And you know what? My performance in the 5th grade as Major General Stanley was better than anybody's in Section 31, including Michelle Yeoh.
And nobody, Rob, considering Section 31, can hide under the, under the carpet of subjectivity. No. There is no subjectivity considering Section 31.
Not when something is objectively awful.
Exactly.
So,
Okay, continue. We continue.
what are we doing?
200, that was the super chat from 200.
I'm drinking coffee instead of alcohol on this show.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
200 you wanted to know what you were thinking about Section 31.
Yeah, what I was thinking about was shuffling off this mortal coil. I now have to share a planet with the people that made Section 31. And, people have offed themselves for less. I'm just saying. They should all commit seppuku. They should all watch Shogun and commit seppuku and make sure to cut up so they're totally disemboweled. So there's no hope that they can be put back together again. No, maybe that's too much. I shouldn't advocate anyone take their own lives. Then I'll get upset and this will get demonetized. I'm kidding. It's a joke. YouTube.
What a tough one.
But it was a joke that I had to watch their swill. Yeah. Terrible. People are going to be like, you're not very nice, Rob. Why do you have to be so mean? Why do I have to be so mean? Because they made this show and thought it was something I needed to watch. I mean, that's the amazing thing. Of all the technology and all the talent and everything they could have done, there's literally 1,000 Star Trek novels that would have made a better show than what they gave us. 1,000 Star Trek novels. There's probably 2,000 Star Trek comic books they could have looked into. There's so much great Star Trek they could have spent. You know what? I could have spent my lunch hour and off the top of my head written a document that said, here's what you should adapt. Off the top of my head, because I've spent my life filling it with needless Star Trek information. And those assholes gave us Section 31. I mean, come on. If I were Paramount, how many millions of dollars did they spend on that? I would be pissed.
I have no idea.
I would cancel Alex Kurtzman. His contract should be canceled. Everybody should be like, you're never going to work in this town again. Go to Canada. As a matter of fact, they should send them somewhere else. I mean, terrible. 200 Watt Studio says, an ET reporter said, Michelle Yeoh, now that you've won an Oscar, you can have your pick of any project. What will you do next? Michelle Yeoh says, Section 31. I mean, that's another thing. You get an Academy Award-winning act. Michelle Yeoh is a Bond girl. She's fought alongside Jackie Chan. And that's what you gave her to do? That's elder abuse. She's in her 60s now. I mean, I'm still young. I'm not in my 60s. But if I was in my 60s, I would hope no one would show me Section 31 because I would have a myocardial infarction and drop dead. Yeah. Anyway, where are we? You know what I will not be doing, Dieter? I will not be buying. Section 31 will go in the same place that Star Trek Discovery, all 5 seasons of Star Trek Discovery are. And you know where that place is? Not in the Robservatory. Anywhere, as a matter of fact, anywhere. I don't even want to be living in the same county. I hope there's no physical media of Discovery or Section 31 in this entire county, and nor should there ever be. That's why I moved out of L.A. Anyway, we've belabored the point. The joke is old. Yeah. Did I tell you how much I hate this show? What are we doing?
I know. Super chats. Are we through?
I think we're through. I'm certain people are going to start trolling me. No, I think we're good. Let me just make sure. Okay. Hang on. Hold on. I am the very pattern of a modern major general. Stub McShave says, if they put 10 monkeys in a room with a computer each, would they come up with something better than the Section 31 movie? Yes, they would have 10 scripts better than the Section 31 movie.
There you go, Stubble. 10.
Yes.
That's all you need. Okay.
It might blow up the whole quadrant. First of all, the people that make modern Star Trek have very little understanding of how big space is. Because you know why? They never read The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Space is big. Really big. They don't get it. They keep showing what witless scientific idiots they are, but that's okay. By the way, I would say this to all their faces, too. I would. They're all special needs writers, all of them. Special Star Trek. It's kind of like we need to make a new Tropic Thunder, but Tropic Thunder has to all be about the people that make modern Star Trek. That's all I'm saying. Okay.
Yeah.
What are we doing now?
You have an idea. I could show this my second tall rope.
Go ahead.
Okay. Cat in the Bag. I have no idea, but it looks cool. It's called Kill Your Lover.
Wow.
So, no idea. Cat in the Bag. I hope.
Where did that come from? Why'd you decide to buy that?
I saw the cover up and I thought, doesn't look too bad. And I think I went and looked it up a little bit, and it wasn't too shabby, I think, considering the reviews. And I said, okay, this is mine. And it is, Rob. I had a reversal cover of it. It is 18. It is 18, So, hopefully good. Kill Your Lover. The next one is a sequel, and I remember being mildly entertained of the first one, but I had to get it because we have now a heavier trip than the first one. First one was called Heavy Trip. Now we have heavier trip where they will go to Wacken again.
Wow.
I have no idea, but I haven't seen it. So a sequel to
that's a great trip. Heavier Trip is a great. That's like Die Hard 2, Die Harder.
Yeah, exactly. And it says Road to Wacken. Nice. Where the famous metal festival takes place every year here. 2 titles that I got from Asia, because the first one I wanted to get the American Blu-ray, but I don't know, sold out, or at least Amazon is not having it in stock. And I thought, wait a minute, perhaps I can get the title in Asia, in Hong Kong. And I did, Rob. It's called Horrible High Heels. And of course, Rob, most important thing.
That's really what it's called?
Yeah, Horrible High Heels, Rob.
All
Category
right.
3. Category 3.
Oh. Are there a lot of heels being buried into eye sockets?
I hear something like, Rob, heels made out of human flesh on the back, but I don't want to read up on anything. And it is available in the States too as a new Blu-ray, but I didn't get it, so I thought, okay, I go with show, since we buy internationally, looked it up where I can get it too, and I saw it in Asia. This one, which came with this title, Cat in the Bag for me, Japanese movie, but this is the Hong Kong, this Tai Chi, Battle of Supreme High. Looked interesting to me, so I thought, okay, give it a shot. So 2 Hong Kong titles. Then the next one, this is an Italian movie. It sits pretty comfortably at the IMDb with 3.6, so it will be totally a blast. It's called Trap, Deadly Depths, Mörderische Tiefe. So hopefully it will be better than 3.6. The next one I did put in the shopping basket because I wanted to have free shipping, and it wasn't just a tiny amount of money that was missing. So I got this one because I already own it, but this is just a media book, and I think it is an Australian movie, considering we were already confronted with sharks. It's called Bait. Sharks at the Supermarket. And here comes the kicker, Rob. Here comes the kicker. It comes with the DVD and the Blu-ray, but I put the DVD out because I wanted to show you something what is written on on the discs. So you need all your German knowledge, and the Blu-ray actually comes with the 3D version too. But here's the DVD. I hope I can make it good enough for you to read. I hope the autofocus will put it.
Jetzt sein wie das Schnäppchen.
Exactly, Rob. Now we are the Schnäppchen, Rob. That's the translation. The humans are the Schnäppchen.
Humans are the Schnäppchen.
Yeah. Jetzt sind wir das Schnäppchen, Rob. And I had to laugh when I saw it on the discs, Now we are the Schnäppchen, Rob. In bait. The next one, I'm not sure if I have seen it. I should have seen it. It came out from Studio Canal here. It says it's digitally remastered. I got Bloody Mallory. It says on the back, where was it? The quote, something like Buffy, extravagant, something like that. Comes with Blu-ray and DVD, so not a 4K, but with a media book part. And the movie is from, I think, 2009, something around it. So limited media book for Bloody Mallory. Next one, Cat in the Bag for me. I've not seen this. This is a movie from Austria, and I have not seen it. Totally looking forward to it. It's called Operation White Christmas.
Wow. Okay.
So this is a 4-disc set because it comes with, let me just check. We have a bonus disc here. Then the 4K with 2 versions of the movie. In the back, we have the Blu-ray with the 2 versions. And we have a soundtrack disc. So this is a 4-disc set. I have not seen this movie. I stumbled across it. It's not completely new. So it is from Austria. So it is in German. Operation White Christmas. I think it's about a video store closing, something like that. Really looking forward to it. Operation White Christmas. And the last one, Cat in the Bag 2. Let me just see. I think it's Japanese movie. Let me just see the original language here. No, it's Taiwan, actually. So we have the movie Invitation Only.
Nice.
Some stapling here going on. And I think, here it is really, really big, Rob. Really big to see. Category 3, Rob. Category 3. That's always the most important thing. And since you're already demonetized, Rob, who cares? Invitation Only.
Gotta love it.
Cat in the Bag. The last one, Rob, for this week.
Nice. It's a good haul. Good haul. I guess I can show you the rest of what I got here because I have a lot to say in editorializing. First of all, I already showed you got Impulse, right?
Yeah.
With William Shatner. Well, another movie that starts with the letter I, maybe the one you're thinking of from Arrow, is the movie Incubus.
That was it, Rob. I was wrong. That was the movie that I was thinking about.
That also stars William Shatner in a role he took before he made Star Trek. This movie is a fascinating film. First of all, another link to True Noir, The Assassination of Anton Cermak. This movie was photographed. It was shot by Conrad Hall, the director of photography, who won 3 Academy Awards. And one of the Academy Awards he won was shooting the movie Road to Perdition, the Paul Newman, which was based on a graphic novel written by True Noir writer Max Allan Collins. So there you go. Now, what's really interesting about this film, first of all, this was a lost film for a long time. This is a movie that they say that movies, it says on the back of this, that Arrow writes that movies about the devil sometimes are considered cursed. Well, thank God 2 of the stars of this movie killed themselves. Thank God one of them was not William Shatner. All the original elements for this movie were burned up in a fire. So this is a folk horror film that basically has You really have to see it to believe it. But they were able to make this disc, and it is in 4K. I haven't even put it in yet. I had a version of this on DVD. They transferred this off the only known remaining print of this movie. So Arrow, I'm sure, did a great job.
Do you have a reversible cover artwork, Rob? Can you check?
No. There is not reversible cover art on this. The only thing is, it was reversible. They took off the 15 rating here. Now, what's really interesting about this movie is it was shot in Esperanto. And Esperanto was a made-up language that was made up in the late 1800s. And it's kind of a combination of all the Romance languages with a little bit of Slavic languages thrown in for good measure. And it was a language that was made up so it allowed people around the world to be able to speak to each other easier by combining. This movie was shot in Esperanto. So, and it is a pretty haunting movie. And it was written and directed by Leslie Stevens, who created the Outer Limits TV series. Okay. So this is a really interesting film. I mean, Arrow just put it out in 4K, and there's a lot of special features on here, a lot of really interesting stuff.
So it's only out in the UK?
I don't know.
Since you bought it in the UK, Rob?
Is that where I got it from? I got this off the Arrow website, so I bought it direct from Arrow. It probably is. It doesn't say. I'm looking for. You know what? Does it have the UK certificate? Okay. It has the certificate, but it doesn't have A, B, C, and D. So maybe it's all regions. I'm not sure. It's a good question. It is 4K though. So
yeah.
So I got this.
That was the movie I was thinking about.
Yeah. Of course. And then of course I got The Cell. Nice. And of course, as we know from Twin Flicks, Paul over at Twin Flicks talked about there's about a 15-second sequence that's messed up in the director's cut. Now, interestingly enough, I'm going to tie The Cell, Tarsem Singh's The Cell, to True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak. How? How am I going to do that? In the scene in the director's cut that gets messed up, the animated film Fantastic Planet is playing on the TV in this movie. And who does the voice of the character of Turl in the American dubbed version of Fantastic Planet? None other than Barry Bostwick, who plays Franklin Delano Roosevelt in episode 6 of True Noir that will drop next week. So 6 degrees of true.
They lead to True Noir.
That's right. Here you go in The Cell. Now, what's really interesting, this actually, look, I don't know if Arrow is going to it's like 15 seconds. And yeah, it's a mistake. It's like a glitch. I don't know if they're going to fix it. I don't know. I told you, Rob, I read in an interview that the Blu-ray with the alternate version is the better one. Yeah, well, now,
the picture quality.
Now, here's the thing. What's really interesting, so you have the regular version of the film, the theatrical version, but you also have a special version of this movie that was it's 178, and it was color timed by the DP. It's an alternate version of the film that's on here too.
Yeah. And that's the one that you should watch. That's what I read on the review.
I totally agree, but that's not the best thing that's on this disc. So I The Cell is okay. I think it's a visionary movie.
Yeah.
This disc has one of my favorite things I've ever seen as a special feature on any, and you know me, I made special features for 20 years.
Yeah.
This disc, even if you don't love The Cell, it's worth buying because there's a feature-length interview with director Tarsem Singh. It's just him sitting in a chair with no shoes on, bare feet, talking about making movies. It's fucking hilarious. He has no fucks to give. No, it is one of the greatest interviews with a director. This is
what you tell me, Rob. This is not an EPK kit.
No. No, and he gets up there. He is so. First of all, I love him. He's only made 3 feature films, but he directed a bunch of great music videos like "Losing My Religion" for REM. He gets up there. If you want a director who's going to tell you about the sanctity of film and how great the art of cinema is, this is not that interview. I
need to see that.
You've got, first of all, it looks great. I watched the director's cut. I saw the glitch, and I did put on and looked at the alternate version, which looks beautiful.
Does it look better, Rob?
It looks different. I haven't sat down and watched the whole thing. I mean, the movie's worth getting visually. I don't think the plot really works. It's kind of disjointed.
I haven't seen it in a long time, Rob.
Yeah, you'll understand. You've got to watch the interview with the director. It's like 90 minutes long, and most of it's a single shot of just him in a chair talking. I laughed out loud like 4 or 5 times. You've got to watch this interview. It's so good. But again, another great package, a lot of great special features. I'm sure Arrow is pissed that this glitch is on there, but it allowed me, because the glitch actually has Barry Bostwick in it. Talking, so I can,
and perhaps we will get to Tarsum Singh in the news. I don't know if you have something in the news section for us with Tarsum. Considering
yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay.
Yes, I do. Why? It's funny that you say that, Dieter, because I do. So I think this is a great package from Arrow. You know, it's funny because people have talked about how this artwork is not so great, and I'm not a big fan of this artwork either. It's all right. You know, it's got stuff in there. But I did kind of like, I mean, it's the Jennifer Lopez face. I did kind of like that, but it's not really included here. But hey, don't care. You go, Tarsum Singh. You go. After this interview, he's only made 3 features, but I want to get drunk with Tarsum Singh. I want to get drunk with him. I want to go hang out with him. I just want to listen to him talk for another 2 hours and ask him questions, because, man, what a banger.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear.
Now,
it's always
talk
the best,
another
Rob,
Arrow.
If you don't need to promote your movie anymore, you know.
Yeah. No.
You can spill the beans.
Now, didn't you show this last week?
Bean grow.
This. Okay, so we've gone through it. Did you watch it?
Not yet, Rob. Not yet.
Okay. I did. I watched it.
Okay.
And I A-B'd. First of all, this.
You have the Universal too.
Yes.
You have the Universal one.
Yeah, and I looked at them both. Okay. I'm with Paul. I'm with Paul. He talked about how this is not the same transfer. This is not the exact same transfer as the Universal transfer. It has a higher bit rate. It has different color timing. It is a better transfer. It is a better transfer. Now, here's something I wanted to talk about in terms of a little bit of movie knowledge and understanding about how certain things used to be done. Now, first of all, I want to talk about what is an interpositive. Okay? In filmmaking, you have the original camera negative, the OCN. Then, when movies are turned into theatrical releases, like we're talking non-digitally shot films, photochemical movies, what they would create is what's called an interpositive. And they would make release prints from an interpositive, because you don't make, when they're making 3,000 prints of a movie to go to, now everything's done digitally. But when they were making prints of movies, you don't use the original camera negative, or at least you shouldn't, to make your release prints, because the negative gets damaged. So they would make what's called an interpositive to print. So for all those people that talk about, I went to the theater and I saw this movie when I was a kid, and on home video it looks different. Yes, because on home video, usually they would go back to the original camera negative. So especially things in 4K and stuff like that look better than it did even in the theater. Because you're one step away from the original negative. The transfer is being made off the original negative. Now, if you could, we would all want our transfers made off of the original camera negative. With Star Trek The Next Generation, they went back, the movie was, the episodes were finished on videotape, which would not fly, so they went back to the original camera negative and rescanned everything at 2K, and that's what we see on Blu-ray. Obviously, in a perfect world, everybody would go back to the original camera negative and transfer from the original camera negative. Now, with movies, up until the digital era, you would cut the negative. So a film would have a cut negative. They'd actually cut the negative, put the negative, a negative cutter. It was a person, human being, that would cut the negative, glue it all together into the negative that is the film. Now, everything from your optical credits, so when you saw the credits, sometimes you'll see credits in older movies and they look dirtier. There's like pieces of dirt. Yeah. That's because they were shooting either through an optical printer or on an animation stand or something like that. It was all photochemical. And then you had a negative, and it was all glued together. That has changed since the 2000s. So what an interpositive is, just to make sure that everybody understands this, an interpositive is a positive image on film stock that's used to make duplicate negatives or printing masters. It's an intermediate step in the process of creating release prints of film. You make the interpositive from an edited camera negative. It's a positive image on negative film stock, and the orange base of the interpositive film gives it special color characteristics. It protects the negative from wear and tear. It's used to make duplicate negatives or printing masters, so you don't have to touch the original negative. It's used to reproduce deteriorating still negatives, and it's used to make color inter negatives. Now, there are also digital IPs, okay? So, when movies are made now, say, I don't know, Kill Bill. So what happens in the digital world, Amélie was re-released earlier in 2024. Jean-Pierre Jeunet went back and restored Amélie, but there's no 4K of it. There can't be a 4K of Amélie because it was finished digitally. It was color graded digitally. So what they don't have, there is no cut negative of Amélie. Yeah. It doesn't exist. There's only, they would scan the negative, the original negative as it was shot, and they put the entire film together rather than cut pieces of negative, physically. They finish the film digitally, and you can output it in various ways. It can be a file. Tango Shalom was, in fact, shot digitally. There's no negative for Tango Shalom. It doesn't exist. A lot of movies that have been shot in the last 25 years do not have original camera negatives. So when you get a movie like Amélie, in order to, first of all, Amélie was heavily color graded. The color grade is not really part of reality. They spent a long time color grading that movie. Now, if you wanted to create a true 4K version of that film, you would have to go get the negative, all of the negative of Amélie. You'd have to figure out what scenes and takes you used, scan it all, again, which is incredibly time-consuming and expensive because you have to have somebody go in, get the negative, find it, put it up on a scanner, scan it shot by shot. And then you'd have to regrade the film. You'd have to start from scratch and color grade the entire movie. It would never look exactly the same as the version that you could get it close, depending on how much time you wanted. But there's no way you could go back and duplicate what they did because the tools have changed. Your aesthetics have changed. So in order to make a full, true, new 4K version of Amélie, it would be incredibly expensive and time-consuming. And the question would be, why would you do that if Amélie exists as a 2K master that you're already happy with? Well, the answer is, in our digital world, we'd like a 4K master. But the thing is, there isn't one. There isn't going to be one of Amélie. So the 2K version is the only thing that exists. Is that a bummer? Sure. But the version that they did, Jean-Pierre Jeunet's new version of Amélie, is the best version of that movie. Now,
two Inglorious Bastards.
We are seeing a lot of people who are up in arms over, say, for instance, we've seen a lot of controversy, the latest being Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2.
Yeah.
Aliens. All these different people are Terminator. You know, a lot of people are talking about, well, now, would it be ideal to go back to all of these movies and go into the original camera negative and scan them at 4K? Sure. I'm saying right now that would be optimal. And then you have to then go back and color time them, color grade them all again from the beginning, start from scratch, and redo the color grade. With a movie like, say, Terminator or Aliens. Terminator came out in 84, Aliens came out in 86. When 4K first came out, there were a lot of people complaining because not everything looked like a fucking Pixar movie. You know, you have different film stocks, optically printed effects. Ghostbusters. The live action photography is amazing. Now, in Ghostbusters, they shot all the effects in 65 millimeter. So they're when you're looking at optically printed effects, they're easier to deal with. Close Encounters, however, if you look at Close Encounters, there's a lot of effect shots that are heavily grained out because you're looking at optically printed multiple layers of film put together. That's part of the photochemical process. That was filmmaking. Now, with Star Trek, for instance, the original series, they decided, because the visual effects, I think in the original Star Trek, the visual effects are great. The space shots are great. They have a reality to them. But when they were put on Blu-ray, the optically printed effect shots look incredibly dirty, superimposed with the beautiful live action photography, because they went back to the original negative. So kudos to Paramount when they were smart and didn't make swill like Section 31. You got to have two versions. They redid special effects and CG, but they put the original versions on so you would have both. Now, when it comes to movies like Kill Bill 1 and 2 and Inglourious Bastards or Aliens or Terminator or whatever, they've already made certain transfers. They might have done upscales. There are versions that already exist, like Inglourious Bastards. You can have a transfer, whether it was done at 2K, 4K, whatever the transfer was done at the time it was made, like the Kill Bill movies. They exist in a certain way. Now, you can take whatever that original master was and re-encode it. You can take that master and you can do an HDR pass on it, which wasn't possible when it was originally done. In the case of Tango Shalom, there was new software. Some of the material was shot in a Blackmagic camera. They had made new software from the time it was shot, so I went back and re-encoded and transcoded the original footage, and they had better software, so I had a better color space to work in. That was because it was 6 years from the time the movie was shot to the time we finished it, so I was able to avail myself of new tools. So when you're looking at a lot of these movies, a lot of people will just bitch about, how come it's not a new 4K transfer? A lot of people are just you're never going to do that. You're never going to go back in and go into that original camera negative and find each piece of negative and recut. Who's going to pay for that? You know, and who's going to do it? If Quentin Tarantino has finished Kill Bill 1 and 2 and they're perfect in his mind, how are you going to get him to go back, retransfer all the negative, recolor time the entire movie, basically take it all the way through post again, if he's already happy with it? How are you going to convince him to do that? Some people will. And some people, you know, whether they do it well, The Godfather's original negative was so deteriorated that Steven Spielberg paid money, said, I'll pay for it. And they had to go fix the negative. And when you look at negatives are damaged and things like that, because it was, you know, for whatever reason. So it's a film. It's not because the studios don't want to make it the best it can be. With like The Searchers, they go back and they correct the negative. Sometimes even soundtracks are missing. They might have missing shots. There's all kinds of things that haven't been stored correctly. So people should understand, like, I thought that the Kill Bill 1 and 2 discs looked great. Now, would they look better if they transferred them off the original camera negative in 4K? Yes, but that isn't an option. It's not an option. And people are like, well, why don't they go back and who's gonna put up the cash? And does Quentin Tarantino want to do that? And Sally Menke, the original editor, passed away. So what Arrow did with this was they did a new encode of a previously existing master. And I think they did a pretty phenomenal job. Might this have looked better if there was a cut negative that they would scan from and make it a true 4K transfer or whatever? I didn't look. I A-B'd. I think the color is better and the blacks are better. And the encode is better. So this is a better version of the movie. Now, there's a lot of people say, well, I don't see any difference. That's okay. You might not see any difference. I will tell you unequivocally there is a difference. You can look at it on. You can look at the bit rates. You can make color. Paul did a great job. Twin Flicks did a great job showing the difference, and you can see the difference is pretty subtle, but it's there, especially if you are watching it on a properly calibrated TV. So I just
especially the blacks. The blacks were way better.
Way better
Yeah,
they were way better.
What I saw in the pictures. Yeah.
Way better. And I watched them both. I kept going back and forth, and I was flipping between and I calibrated both. My HDMI inputs are between my multi-region player. I was going between my multi-region player, my Sony multi-region player, and my Panasonic main player, and I was just clipping between the two, looking at, and one is a better transfer.
And like you said, Rob, in the 2000 when we went to the digital era, a lot of movies were just shot in 2K.
Yeah. That's the thing. The early Marvel movies were all finished.
Yeah.
FX-heavy movies were finished in 2K because 4K was too expensive. I mean, you're looking at the resolutions. Every frame costs a ton of money to render, and when you have a movie done in 4K, it's that's what happens. But it gets me angry when I have to deal with everybody bitching and moaning and complaining all the time. I'm like, look. There is no other option. And then the other case with the James Cameron films is like, I think Terminator looks amazing. If you had they
did find the right balance with the Terminator.
I think so too. Now, does it look different than its theatrical release? Yes. But if you were to go back to the original camera negative of Terminator and just do a transfer, the film grain, it's all over the place. The miniature effects and the special effects are much different. What they did was they've given us a new version. Now, as a purist, I want it to look like it did when I saw it in the theater. But even the theatrical version is from an interpositive. You're not seeing what it looks like directly from the camera negative. You're seeing something once removed. So what you're seeing now is a lot of this technology. If people saw what an original camera negative transfer would look like, they would bitch and moan and complain, why are the visual effects shots so grainy? Why do the film stocks look this way? Things are just different. I think, like you said, what they do with Terminator, the movies never looked better. And it looks more updated. Look, we've talked about Aliens. I've got the Blu-ray of Aliens. I can go watch that. But this new version of it is pretty amazing. It's a different experience. And for me as a purist, I would not have chosen to necessarily go that way.
We changed our minds, Rob. We were changed with our minds.
Changed.
Because you were already bitching and complaining about it on Instagram. They put the old one, where's the new one? But for us, it worked.
It worked. Now, do I think True Lies worked? No, I do not. No. And I think True Lies, it would have been better if they went back to the original camera negative. And now everybody, look, AI is just another tool. I mean, when people talk about, as soon as you're moving into the digital world and you start, you can make things sharper focus. You can, the Lord of the Rings, watch my little color grading featurette on the original Lord of the Rings special features. They were able to go in and isolate people's eyes. They could make I mean, Lord of the Rings is a movie that looks nothing like its original camera negative. Nothing. It's very, very different because everything is heavily affected. The color grade on Lord of the Rings is extreme. The elves, they slowed things down. They all kinds of stuff. So it's a different world.
Nice.
But look, damn fool idealistic crusader, his channel, he bitches and moans and complains a lot. And he's not wrong. There's a lot of things like, why can't you find the original mono track? Well, a lot of times those things are missing. People like mono track, who wants them? Well, the 5 people that do, I mean, I want them, but, hence the end of my...
Would you, Rob, hand on heart, would you listen in mono with that great Dolby Atmos track that it has?
Fuck no.
Fuck no, exactly, Rob.
No.
Exactly.
Look, here's the thing. Dolby Atmos did not exist when they made the Terminator. It was a low budget movie. They could. I think the original was probably mixed in stereo. Was there 5.1 then? I mean, Next Generation, they went back and they did a 7.1 mix on Next Generation. If you asked me to go back and listen to the 2-channel stereo mix, I'd say no. You know,
because you always have that great hum of the engines.
Yeah, I mean, and they've given you a sound field that is, look, a lot of the time you still need, I don't think what they did in Tim Burton's Batman is necessarily good. You know, you have to have talented people coming in and doing it correctly. But there's been a lot of stuff, a lot of advances in home video. Like, look, I really appreciate David Fincher coming back and making sure 7 looks the way it looks, and he didn't use the 7.1 home video mix. He went back to the original 5.1 and brought his sound mixer, who did the original movie in 5.1 the way he wanted it when he originally made it. So I like that. But then there's people like, where's the 7.1 mix? Well, they didn't put it on there because David Fincher didn't want it there because that wasn't the way it was done originally theatrically. So it's all up in the air. It's all, you know. There's my editorializing for the day.
It's not.
Anyway, yeah. There you go.
Is this your Rob, or do you have more stuff, Rob?
I have one more.
Okay.
I have one more. You know me. I don't see you buy a lot of classic cinema. I mean, Night Train Murders is classic. But I'm talking about Hollywood classics. I saved this for last.
But I'm here to listen, Rob.
Because this is 4K. You know I love my Studio Canal 4K discs, and this is one of the great films of all time, one of the great relationships on film of all time. Humphrey Bogart, oh my God, and Katharine Hepburn in The African Queen, Studio Canal 4K. Oh yeah. And what can I say? I mean, I love this artwork. It's beautiful artwork. Great big thick book. And you know, there is a Blu-ray too with special features. Yeah. But how could I not get The African Queen, one of the great classic films of all time? John Huston's, I don't know if it's his masterpiece, but it's one of John Huston's great movies. The African Queen. A lot of great special features on here.
Okay.
What's that?
It got released on
I think so.
African Queen? Is this the first
I don't
time?
think it's out in 4K. I don't know if it's out in 4K here.
Okay. So from Studio Canal. Okay. Nice.
So Studio Canal putting out some bangers. You know, I got all their Ealing Studios discs that they put out. So hey, African Queen, baby. Nice. There's our stab at being reputable film fans. You know, Night Train Murders, African Queen.
We have everything.
That's what you get in this show, man. You get it all. Yeah. You get it all. So, yeah, I get the reputable things. So let's see. We'll see if we got. I think we got some super chats and things coming in. Let's see. There's a lot. 200 Watt Studio says, I heard Horrible High Heels is a Warner Archive Blu-ray disc. Come on, man. Could be. Garrett Groover says, so, Rob, do you plan on buying Star Trek Section 31 in 4K? I bet there isn't, like Star Trek Picard Season 3, I bet there isn't even going to be a 4K because they probably didn't finish it in 4K. Yeah. They might have. But, by the way, you know what? I would rather have each of my testicles removed with no anesthesia, and I would like to have them, they could be fed to a Rottweiler in front of me, and it would still be less painful than watching Section 31 again. Just saying. Garrett Groover says, sometimes my material that rolls off the top of my tongue is not as good as other material. I admit that. Garrett Groover says, what movies have you bought the most on different formats? For instance, did you buy Alien on VHS, Laserdisc, Blu-ray, etc.? Yes. Alien, I bought the first time Alien was released. Now, some people are going to go back even further and said, I bought the 8mm version out of the back of Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine. My physical media collecting began with VHS and beta tapes, but I did buy Alien on magnetic video, which was a 20th Century Fox magnetic video. I bought it on Laserdisc. I then bought the box set on Laserdisc when it was letterboxed and came out with all the special features. Then I bought it in the first Alien anthology set. I think it came out as the Alien anthology. I don't know if it came out individually on DVD or not, but the first Alien anthology set. Then I bought the Blu-ray Alien anthology set, which is still pretty definitive because it's got Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection on it. Then I bought the single disc Alien 4K. So what is that, 6 times? I bought Alien 6 times. Star Wars. Bought Star Wars on VHS when it was first only available as a rental tape. We got a video store to buy them for us, even though they were rental copies. They sold them for us. So I had Star Wars as a bootleg before that. So I didn't buy it, but I had it as a bootleg VHS tape. I even wrote an article. There was one issue of a Star Wars collecting magazine, and I wrote an article for that magazine called Buying Star Wars. I have that article somewhere. I should publish it. Chris Gore published this magazine, and I wrote how many times I bought Star Wars. So I bought the VHS. I bought the Laserdisc from Japan, the letterbox Laserdisc, Japanese disc, the regular Fox Laserdisc, the definitive edition box set of Star Wars on Laserdisc.
The black one, Rob.
The big black box. Then the Star Wars trilogy, the THX, the fixed version in CALV instead of CAV. I have that. Those are over there. Then I must have bought 4 or 5 different versions of Star Wars on DVD because there was the one where they put the Laserdisc versions out that were non-anamorphic. They put those out.
Exactly.
And then I bought now I have the box set of all the Skywalker saga. That's the 4K set. And I must have 6 different versions. I've got bootleg versions. I've got the original versions of Star Wars on Blu-ray. I've got so many different versions of Star Wars on Blu-ray. I don't even know what I can't even begin to.
I actually can tell you what movie did I purchase the most.
Dawn of the Dead is another movie.
Where you went through different formats. When I go through, just buying it on Blu-ray again. Perhaps T2 could be, but I have no idea.
How many times you buy the Hunger Games, buddy?
Oh, I totally forgot that. I wanted to sweep that under the rug, Rob.
Sure you did.
And the crazy thing is, Rob, there is not big of a quality difference between the titles. That's the issue.
Dude, I own. What do I own? 5 copies of To Live and Die in L.A. on
because
Blu-ray?
If you have a better quality, you can somewhere justify it.
And if it has different packaging.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's an only different packaging.
I mean, Dawn of the Dead. I've bought so many different versions of Dawn of the Dead just because I love Dawn of the Dead. I mean, there's Gladiator. There's movies I probably. And what's funny is if you think about it, the movies that I've owned. So let's just think about movies I've bought on all the formats in my life.
Okay.
Luckily, I only bought VHS tapes up for 5 years. I bought VHS tapes from 80 to 85. And then in 85, I got my Laserdisc player, the CLD 900, which is the first Pioneer combi player that played CDs and Laserdiscs. And once I went CD and Laserdisc, I stopped buying tape. So I stopped buying tape. I went disc only in 85. And so I bought and that lasted 15 years, up to about 2000. I mean, DVDs 97, 98, but I was still buying Laserdiscs. And then I changed my player. I got a Pioneer Elite player that played DVDs. It was a combi player that played DVDs. So it played DVDs. So I had that. CDs, And then I got a PlayStation 3 and started buying Blu-rays. Thank you,
so
Mary
you got
Forrest.
Not a Toshiba HD DVD player, Rob.
Never owned I did not go HD DVD. Thought about it. Because Star Trek was out on HD DVD first, I think. Did not get it though, and now
clever
Blu-ray.
cookie.
But I'll tell you something. When I have not, I probably still have 150 Laserdiscs. I have not played a Laserdisc in 25 years.
In forever. Yeah, me too.
I have a player. I have discs.
Me too. Me too. But I wouldn't even my receiver wouldn't have the AC3 output that you need for the 5.1
Yeah.
jack. The newer ones, they don't have that anymore.
But I think most of the movies, like the top 250 movies that I have, I've probably bought in almost every format. Luckily, with VHS tapes, there weren't a lot. The output was not a lot. You know,
The
because
only
there was
thing, Rob, the German market, considering VHS tapes, began way later than in the
and
market.
I worked in home video that time, so I even though they had copy protection on them, I had 4 VCRs, and what I would do is I was a video pirate, so I worked in video stores. I worked in video stores from 80 to 88. And in 86, I was working in a Laserdisc only store. So for 6 years, I worked in home video, and I copied everything. There were very few tapes that I would buy. I would buy things that I really liked, but the problem was they would get dropouts on them, just like the tapes that I was copying. And sometimes I would
replay. It would get worse and worse.
Yeah. And I spent hundreds, thousands of dollars on blank videotapes. Because back then, blank videotapes started out, they were like $30 a pop. And I would record off cable. I record
and of course you would try different tape trademarks, Rob. To different marks to see what tape is better quality.
Oh yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I only would use Maxell or TDK videotapes.
TDK,
that was it. Some people would use Ampex, and I'm like, get that. I wouldn't even let anybody. If somebody brought me something to watch on a VCR and it was on an Ampex videotape, I'm like, there's no way I'm not even putting that in my machines because it would flake out into the tape was so terrible. Ampex was terrible. Their VHS tapes were terrible. My friend Shade Roop's dad collected blank videotapes. He had a wall of every single blank video cassette that was made around the world. Why he did that, I don't know. But he had a wall of all the different blank video cassettes. But yeah, I had a lot of crazy. Okay. I came from a crazy Mercer Island, my hometown. There was Clark Von Trotha, there was me, Shade Roop, and Walter and William Olson. And Walter and William Olson were these crazy. They would watch. They started Code Red, the video label Code Red that's put out a lot of stuff. They started it, and they were like crazy shut-in film crazy dudes, and they both passed away in like the same year. So shout out to Walter and William Olson from Code Red. I went to high school with you guys, and they had worse taste than you.
That's saying something, Rob. That's saying something.
Dude, they were the original Trash Pandas, and they started their own video label. So, yeah. A performing artist says, hello, Robin Dieter. Shout out to Yura Borazov for his Oscar nomination for Enora. I'm an actor, and his performance is close to me. Happy 2025 film watching, y'all. Well, that's cool.
So fingers crossed for him.
I loved Enora, and by the way, how great is it Criterion's putting it out? Woohoo!
Yeah. And with that cover, Rob.
Oh, my God. I'd marry that girl, too. Georgie says, hi, Robin Dieter. Con Air hits 4K on digital. Disc collectors are your fingers crossed. I love Con Air. Cyrus the Virus. John Malkovich. I love that movie. Yeah, I will totally get that. Let's get it. 200 Watt Studio says, so Rob, are you saying James Cameron should go back and give us a newer version of Section 31? You know what? If he wrote and directed it, I'd be all smiles about that. And then they memory hold the whole thing. Or maybe it should be like Severance, and we'll all just, forget about it.
Ooh. I haven't started, Rob, this thing. I haven't started.
So, yes, it's not a bad idea. Jose Taco says, what is the cost and time frame to do a 4K transfer? Well, it used to be $100,000. It's a lot cheaper now. It really depends on the state of the film. To go back, it depends what kind of a transfer you're doing. It depends what kind of access you have to materials. It depends how damaged the original elements are, because that's another problem. If you just do a transfer from 4K, let's say you have a cut negative of a cult movie that was made in the early or late 60s or something.
A video nasty.
Or you're going to want to go in and you're going to want to fix the frames. You're going to want to digitally repair, go in, and it's incredibly time consuming. So you're talking five figures, really, I would say, depending. But if you're Warner Archive and you're doing the searchers, God only knows how much that cost. Deep into the six figures. And sometimes even more, depending on like things like The Godfather or stuff like that. And if you want to go in and you want to recolor time, you color grade the film, that can be very time consuming as well, because it's all laborious. Now, what they want to do is they want to hit a button and have AI fix things. And eventually they will be able to do that. The problem that I think with AI is color grading and things like that and fixing things. While AI can be a great tool and it'll be able to do a lot of things, you still need, I think, the human touch. You still need somebody making, like, I would never turn on AI and expect it to do a perfect color grade. And there's things that, but as it's learning, I mean, it's obviously, AI will learn.
I remember, Rob, considering transfers when Gladiator came out as an early Blu-ray, and Universal did some, digital noise reduction. There were some spear tips that gotten removed from the AI and something like that, where the program was thinking it was dirt.
Yep. Well, that's the problem when you have computer programs, when you're dealing with things that are moving all the time. Every frame matters. Even the 4Ks of Lord of the Rings. Remember how people went through? Even, hello, dear viewer. Even Elliot Cohen went through and he was kind of bummed out. There was a lot of people going, well, there's artifacts here and they're doing things, and they couldn't. It's not perfect, and people have to be able to go through and look at that, and it's all laborious. It's all the real problem is especially nowadays. Obviously, the streaming services like Netflix, they want all their movies in 4K. But the problem is, how do you justify going back and doing an obscure movie from the 1950s? There's a lot of companies that are going back and retransferring 50s sci-fi or monster movies because there's a cult market for that. But a lot of our cinema history is, how do you justify, where's the money going to come back? If a studio is going to spend money or someone's going to spend money doing a transfer, they can only spend money if they know they're going to get money back. Otherwise, why would a company bother? And so as we move away, my rule of pop culture has a half-life of 20 years. Every 20 years that goes by makes movies that are older worth less and less and less. And especially now with all this new stuff being made, you have a whole new generation of people that really don't give a fuck about movies. And with user-generated content, we have an entire youth around the world. They're generating their own content. They're watching each other. They're not looking outside themselves at our rich film history. And if we don't have people doing that, then I mean, we decide what's valuable. We have to decide, is cinema a valuable art form? And like nowadays, how are you going to get people to watch even black and white movies? You have an entire generation that rejects film that is black and white, which is the first 50 years of cinema history.
Yeah.
They just don't care. So how are you going to get somebody to invest in a 4K transfer of a movie like that? How are you going to do that? If there's no return, the only way people are going to spend money on something, unless you had some, that's why George Felsenstein should be the world's film czar, because he would make sure that all film is preserved. But if a culture doesn't value its art, it won't survive. That's just the way things are. And film is, unfortunately, the way it is. Georgie says, will we ever see a Blu-ray release of Gotti from 1996 with Armand Assante? The film is simply great and underrated. Wasn't that a TV movie? I don't know if that was
idea, Rob. Could be.
Gotti. I mean, let's see. Look,
and it will probably be more difficult to get a release just because it was a TV movie.
Okay, Gotti was an HBO movie. Yeah. It was an HBO movie. It's on. You can see it on YouTube. And it is. I remember. Look, I love Armand Assante, so it is an HBO movie. It's probably a good bet if the film was, unless it was finished on tape, which it very well could be, because in 1996. Okay, here's a problem with TV shows that really began in the mid-'80s, early to mid-'80s, and went all the way up to almost 2000. So like Star Trek The Next Generation, a lot of television, the 1980s Twilight Zone, a lot of television was shot on film. It was transferred to videotape in standard def, 640 by 480. And they would post it. They would take a movie all the way through post on tape. So there is no existing, it only exists, unfortunately, in standard definition. Blu-ray or HD standard 1920 by 1080 is 6 times, the resolution is basically 6 times more than, oversimplification, but 6 times more than standard def. So in the case of Gotti, it came out in 96. I would bet that it might have only been finished on tape. In which case, if there was the wherewithal, that if somebody wanted to go back and spend the money, and one of the problems with this is, they transferred all of it on tape. They'll just take all the dailies and transfer it onto tape. So all of the dailies exist on tape, and then they went back and they conformed. They did an online assembly of the movie, so they've never touched the negative again. So somebody would have to go back into the stored negative, assuming they stored the negative at all, and go through the negative and figure out, and have to go through all the reports. Star Trek The Next Generation, they were able to do this because everything was meticulously cataloged, because they thought Deep Space Nine and Voyager were not as well cataloged, by the way, as Star Trek The Next Generation. You'd have to have somebody go through those boxes, go through the negative, rescan the negative, and they would have to they're not going to rescan all the negative. They're only going to rescan the negative that was used, but then there'd have to be somebody that would figure that out. So hopefully there'd be enough in the reports to say, okay, they use this scene and take, and you could go through. It's a nightmare. It's an absolute nightmare. And so some things, unfortunately, are going to be lost to history, because there's no will and no money to go back and take a movie like, maybe HBO would like to do that, but if they don't go back and do it, it's never going to happen, unfortunately.
Tough one.
So there you go, Georgie. I don't mean to bum you out. Walter Whitewalker says, I actually have some old trailer reels from my days as a projectionist. I can't even remember which one I have. A friend said to sell each frame. Well, you could. I have a friend that I went to high school with who contacted me, and he's found a treasure trove of 16 millimeter stuff. The problem is, again, when you're dealing with positives as opposed to negative, you've got to clean it all, wet gate transfers. You have to find somebody to, sometimes it's not worth doing. 200 Watt Studio says, let's forget about the trash Section 31. At least we have Strange New Worlds coming.
Not watching, Rob. I'm not watching. He's frozen.
I'm not frozen.
You made it.
Why do people do this to me? What are you trying to do? Hurt me? Show me on the Enterprise model where they hurt you. 200 Watt Studio says, I think it was on Cinemax, not HBO. It was called She's Gotti Have It. Dude. What I really want in terms of Armand Assante on 4K is Q&A. Sidney Lumet's movie Q&A. That shit was dope.
Okay.
Give me that. Give it to me. Put it in my mind. Hang on. Let me go back to where we're at. Let me just make sure I'm caught up. Just hold on for a second.
Yep.
And
no problem.
See, we can't even get away. We can't even do a shorter show on Saturday.
Not possible.
Yeah, okay, we're all caught up. Hessian Boy became a subscriber to the channel. Nice. Thanks for that, buddy. No, we're good. We're caught up. We are caught up.
Okay.
So do you want to get into the news, buddy?
News, yeah, Rob. What news do you have for us?
Well, first of all, let's start out with MVD is putting out, Kevin Smith is starting his new Smod Castle cinema label on MVD.
Oh, okay.
And this movie, A Better Place, which I actually saw this in a theater. And Vincent Pereira's movie, A Better Place, is coming out. Pretty interesting. Hey, it's always nice to see kind of forgotten movies make their way out. So that's cool that they're starting a Smod Castle label. I don't know how they're going to do that. Are they going to go back and do...
Isn't that the title of his theater, too?
Yeah, the Smod Castle. Yeah. Okay. So it's all pretty cool. I like that MVD is doing this. Now, speaking of Severin, they're putting out an all-stops version of Blue Sunshine. Now, if you guys haven't seen Blue Sunshine, you see the big face there? Do you know who that is? That's right. It's Zalman King. Zalman King, who wrote with his wife, Patricia Louise Knopp, 9.5 Weeks. He directed Delta of Venus. He directed Two Moon Junction. He directed a surf movie that's really erotic. Zalman King is the man, but he stars, because he started out as an actor in Blue Sunshine, about what happens if you took bad LSD. This is a total cult movie. There's a lot of wackiness in it, but I really love it. It's come out in various forms over the years, but this looks to be Severin's pulling out all the stops on this multi-disc release. Can't wait to get it. You go, Severin. We love Severin. Nice. So go there and order Night Train Murders and pre-order their awesome Blue Sunshine disc, because why not? Then we've got John Sayles, his movie Baby It's You, that stars Vincent Spano, I think, and Patricia Arquette. I love this movie. I love Baby It's You. I love John Sayles, you know. He was really out there making indie movies in the late 70s and early 80s, and I like this movie. Baby It's You coming out. And then we've got, coming out from a British company, a steelbook of Megalopolis. They found somebody in Britain to release it. I'll buy it. I don't know if Lionsgate's going to do their version of it. I hope they do. I don't know, but Lionsgate had been working with, they've been doing some great releases. They just put out The Conversation, obviously. That came out from Studio Canal originally, but then they put out a great steelbook of it at Lionsgate Limited. You can go there right now and pick it up. But Megalopolis coming out, and I'm going to buy it anyway. Indicator, got 4 banger classics coming out. They do such a great job with their transfers. The first being Little Man, What Now? That's what the first girl I ever slept with said to me when I was done in 5 seconds. Little Man, What Now? I don't know anything about this movie, but hey, I love these covers. Carl Laemmle presented it, and Douglas Montgomery, Little Man, What Now? Margaret Sullivan, can we try again? That's what I said. So here we go. That's coming out. Dangerous to Know, another great Anime Wong, star of half of Kino Lorber's output. No, they've been putting that stuff out. Dangerous to Know. Anime Wong discs. Kino Lorber's been putting them out. But look at the Indicator. I love these covers. So good. Don't know much about this movie, but I'm sure it's noir, and I love it. Let's get it. Their transfers alone are worth getting. Behold a Pale Horse. Gregory Peck, Anthony Quinn, and Omar Sharif. This movie looks great just from this picture. I mean, look at that. Come on. Behold a Pale Horse. No, not an adaptation of Piers Anthony Incarnations of Immortality series, for those of you who read books. But Behold a Pale Horse. I don't know anything about this movie, but I will buy it just for this cast, and because Indicator's transfers are amazing. So you go, Indicator. And finally, I think these are April releases. Spawn of the North. Now, Dieter, you might look at this, and I'm about to ask you, how does this refer back to True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak? How does this Indicator release refer back to the assassination of Anton Cermak? Well, I'll tell you. It stars George Raft, and George Raft is a character in the assassination of Anton Cermak, played by the great actor Don McManus. And it's Don McManus, spoiler alert, it's George Raft who tells Nathan Heller that Al Capone wants to see him. So George Raft, the actual George Raft, is played by Don McManus in True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak, that was written by Max Allan Collins, who wrote Road to Perdition, that Incubus cinematographer Conrad Hall shot. I'm telling you, all roads lead back to True Noir, all of them. So there you go. And now look at this. MVD, in addition, they're putting out Tunnel Vision. This is another staple of home video. Tunnel Vision, Be Kind, Rewind. They're leaning into the old video era. This is a low budget film that a lot of people. It was a send up of TV, not the way Network was, but it kind of lowbrow, but funny. I watched this movie 3 or 4 times when I was a kid or in high school, and there you go, limited slipcover. And comes with a mini poster if you like this movie. I don't know if it is the funniest film of 1985, but hey, if you want to say it is, MVD, who am I to argue? Not going to argue. Then we've got the Vordelak is coming out from Oscilloscope. Now, Oscilloscope was started by one of the Beastie Boys, and they put out things like We Have to Talk About Kevin. I don't know anything about this movie, The Vordelak, but I will buy it just because I love this cover. And why not? Oscilloscope always puts out something worth buying, so I'll buy it. So what is a Vordelak? Is that kind of like Nosferatu, but different? I don't know.
Looks a little bit like it.
I know, right? So then we've got An Amorous Woman of Tang Dynasty. This is coming out from 88 Films. I think it's a Shaw Brothers movie. I don't know if it's come out in any of the Shaw Brothers collections. But, on this channel,
that's the Shaw Brothers logo, Rob.
I know. I don't know if it's any of the box sets they've released or if this is a new release. Yeah. You know us. We'll watch any movie about any amorous Asian woman. And if there's the promise of Asian nudity, I will watch it. So I like this cover. It's cool. An Amorous Woman of the Tang Dynasty. Does that mean she's immortal and she was there throughout the entire Tang Dynasty? I don't know. Don't know. Then we've got a new version of Vanishing Point coming out. Vanishing Point makes another great double bill with 2-lane blacktop. Watch carefully because everything happens fast. The chase, the desert, the shock, the girl, the roadblock, the end. Love these movies where kids in cars or teenagers or young adults in cars, whether it's 2-lane blacktop, Vanishing Point, Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry. And I think Barry Nelson's in this, or Barry Newman. Barry Newman's in this movie.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Bring it on. 2-lane blacktop coming out. Now here's another one. Now this, by the way, believe it or not, College Confidential. College Confidential. Now, Dieter, this is coming out from Kino Lorber.
So,
would you like to know how College Confidential is connected to True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak, written by Max Allan Collins, based on his novel True Detective? Would you like to know? This, by the way, this is coming out from Kino Lorber. And by the way, this is happenstance. This is the news this week that I'm tying into True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak. How is College Confidential? No film ever dared touch this theme before.
Name that I think is in True Noir on the cover.
By the way, look at this quote. It's like a Kinsey report on the campus. Well, I'll tell you. Steve Allen, Jane Meadows, Maybe Van Doren, and Walter Winchell. Would you be surprised to know that Walter Winchell, the real Walter Winchell, is a character in True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak? Episode 6 drops next week. Welcome to Miami, Mr. President. Walter Winchell, yes, that's right, is played by actor Corey Landis, who does a great job. It is the character of Walter Winchell that goes to interview assassin Giuseppe Sangara after he is, spoiler alert, killed Anton Cermak. Walter Winchell is a character, a true-to-life character based on the real Walter Winchell, played expertly by actor Corey Landis in episode 6 of True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak.
It's not really a spoiler, Roy, considering the title of your...
It's true. You know he's going to die. But, hey, I didn't know this was going to happen. I didn't know I could make so many ties. I mean, is True Noir, the audio drama that I spent the last year of my life working on, is it not part of the cultural zeitgeist? Apparently, yes, it is. That's because Max Allan Collins' words are forever. You heard it here first. And remember, you can go right now to truenoir.co and you can order the series and you can get yourself put down on a list for the Blu-ray that's going to get released. True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak, written by Mystery Writers of America, Grandmaster Max Allan Collins, and directed, edited, and co-created by me. So there you go. See, you know what? True Noir, the assassination of Anton Cermak, is 10,000 times better than Section 31, and it stars Sloan. It stars the great Bill Sadler, who they should have watched those episodes where he played the man who created Section 31, or he didn't create it, but you could, so that too. Section 31, we have Sloan in our thing, and they didn't have him in their thing, so who's better? We are. Just saying, we are. Then we've got A Touch of Love. Now look at this, buddy. This is a vintage classic. Unfortunately, it's only on Blu-ray. Another Studio Canal movie. Look who that is on the left. Do you recognize that man?
Okay.
It's Ian McKellen and Sandy Dennis, A Touch of Love. Before Ian McKellen came out, he was doing heterosexual love stories with Sandy Dennis. Sandy Dennis, like Up the Down Staircase. I was in that play when I was in junior high school. A Touch of Love. Don't know much about it. But, hey, if Studio Canal's putting it out, now we're going to go down under. It's raining, so get out your umbrella, Dieter. Get out your umbrella. Look what Umbrella's releasing. Tarsem Sings 4K version of The Fall. I think this big collector's box set is a website exclusive. After watching his interview on the Cell disc, I have to go out and get this just to show my solidarity. Why wouldn't you want this? You go, Tarsem Singh. Look at this package. I love these Umbrella box sets. They're so great. They're right up there with Second Sight box sets. You get one in the mail. They're always beautifully packaged. They kill you on the shipping from Australia, but just wait and get everything and get them all together. They've also got the movie Shutter coming out. I'm not such a fan of this movie, but hey, what a great release from Umbrella. If you love it, another great box set. Why not? And then, of course, another box set, Thai horror. I like Thai horror films, not just movies about ladyboys. Thai horror. And they've got some great titles in here. I want to get this. Probably a great overview. Definitely worth getting. This is the box set that's coming from their website again. Definitely worth picking up, I think. And then finally, Storm Warning. I know nothing about this movie, but this is the special.
It's a nice horror movie. I think, don't know if it was slasher rock, but it did had some censor problems here in Germany when it came.
Oh, really? That means I should get it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. What a great set coming from Umbrella. Now we jump over to Film Masters, The New Adventures of Tarzan. This is a 12-chapter serial. Film Masters has been doing some great stuff going into the catalog, bringing out some things. Of course, Tarzan not being played by Johnny Weissmuller, but I don't think so because it would say Johnny Weissmuller. But this is The New Adventures of Tarzan, all 12 chapters. They do great work. Why not support them? Then we have got Elevation coming out. Anthony Mackie and Marina Baccarin coming out. And this is coming out, so that's kind of neat. I haven't seen this movie. Did you see Elevation?
No, I have not. It came and went, considering his theatrical release.
Yeah, it did. It looked cool. It looked like a great creature feature. I like Anthony Mackie in it. I liked Anthony Mackie in Synchronic, so hopefully I'm going to like Anthony Mackie even more in Captain America Brave New World, but I'm not holding my breath.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Captain America fights the Hulk, and he's not a super soldier. How's that going to go? Not well, I would imagine. And if it does go well, I'm going to ask myself, how can I be expected to believe that Captain America can fight the Hulk if he's not a super soldier? Just because he has armor from Wakanda? No, not going to cut it. Then we've got Bobby Joe and the Outlaw. This movie stars Marjo Gortner. When You Coming Back, Red Rider, Star Crash, Marjo Gortner, Preacher, Marjo Gortner. And this is the new addition to Kino Cult's label. My God, Kino Cult. First of all, everyone knows how much we all love Kino Cult here. Bobby Joe was a car hop, and she wanted to be
28.
a country singer. He was a hustler who dreamed he was Billy the Kid. And for a while, they had something. And then, I don't know. Marjo Gortner's film career in the 70s fascinates the hell out of me.
Yeah.
When You Coming Back, Red Rider was on cable. I think I saw it like 4 times. Of course, he stars in Star Crash as one of the leads. He got to hang out with Caroline Munro. And then he was in this movie, Bobby Joe and the Outlaw. Let's go get him. You go, Kino Cult. Now, here's something that's coming out that okay. So this is a new Shudder original series. Now, Second Sight released Creep that stars
Correct.
Mr. Duplass
so
here.
How are they tied together, Rob?
Oh, I'm curious. Like he turns out to be a serial killer, and he hires a guy to make tapes. So did they, when they were shooting it, did they have all these other tapes that they've made that they've repurposed into the Creep tapes? Or is this a new series that they've derived from the movie that Second Sight's putting out, Creep? I don't know.
Exactly, Rob.
I don't know. I don't know the answer. Maybe somebody can answer it. I'll tell you one thing. Whichever route they go with this, I know it's better than Section 31. So I don't know what this actually is, but fascinating nonetheless. It makes me...
Where does the connection lie?
I don't know, but now, I didn't order this from Second Sight. Normally I just order everything, but now maybe I'll have to go back and revisit my choices. And then, of course, last but not least, Beethoven is coming out. For those of you who might want it, I won't buy it, but hey, Beethoven is coming. I think from Kino Lorber. So maybe not, but I think it is. There you go, Beethoven. Come on, Charles Grodin's finest hour. And then let's go to the sales charts. We have top-selling Blu-ray discs. We've got Seven, number 1, The Wild Robot, number 2, Twisters, number 3, Alien Romulus, number 4. By the way, Alien Romulus and Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes both nominated for Best Visual Effects. You go, Steve Asbell. No Country for Old Men, Criterion. Joker, Folle et Deux. Terrifier 3, Dune Part 2, Deadpool and Wolverine, and Twister. All right.
Nice.
Then we've got top-selling 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray discs. 7, top of the charts again. No Country for Old Men. Twister and Twisters, bringing up 3 and 4. Transformers 1, The Wild Robot. Joker, Folle et Deux. Dune Part 2, Terrifier 3, and Trap, your favorite movie of the year, as
favorite
number
comedy
10.
Last year.
So that is all the news that's fit to print, my friend.
Awesome. So if you want, Rob, you can take a break or just see the super chats.
Yeah, I don't take a break. To drink, to take drugs, to OD. I mean, Walter White Walker says, rename this show to 6 Degrees of True Noir. I will. By the way, for those of you who don't know, True Noir is the amazing, fully immersive audio drama written by Mystery Writers of America Grandmaster Max Allan Collins, based on his 19-novel Nathan Heller series that's been running for the last 40 years, beginning with the first book, True Detective. I don't have it in my... I can't touch it.
Not True your reach. Okay.
And you know what? Everybody who's anybody stars in True Noir. It's got a star-studded cast, including Michael Rosenbaum as Detective Nathan Heller, Katie Sackhoff, Bill Sadler, Barry Bostwick, Jeffrey Combs, David Strathairn, Louis Lombardi, Severio Guerra. I'm telling you, we've got great people.
And Chris
Vincent
Carr.
Pastore from
Don't
the
forget
Chris
Chris
Carr, who in episode 5 has a sex scene. Chris Carr has a love scene. I'm telling you, with Michael Rosenbaum, who already had a love scene with Katie Sackhoff. I'm telling you, you're gonna love it, and especially if you get the 5.1 version, it's so choice if you have the means, as Ferris Bueller would say, and you should, because it's only $30, but worth your time. Put a lot of time and effort into it, and it will be coming out on Blu-ray. By the way, did I mention True Noir?
Yeah, Rob. Didn't you want to go through the super chats?
I don't. Are there any left? Are there any? Let's see.
I think. I've seen 1 or 2.
Beethoven is Coming was on Cinemax before She's Gotti Have It. Okay. You know what? These jokes are as bad as my Section 31 jokes are. Of course, not as bad of a joke as Section 31 itself is, but hey. 200 Watt Studios says, oh, wait, no, we're caught up. We're caught up.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
200 Watt Studios. I'm putting him on mute. No, I'm just kidding.
Then you can take a break, Rob, and I take over. And
good, because I'm gonna take some heroin now. Speedball.
Okay.
Heroin and cocaine. Maybe I'll OD.
Previously on Let's Get Physical Media, Roman Chopper. Why do people are so excited about John Woo? His films are so goofy. Come on, they're classics.
Wait a minute. Who is this? Roman?
Roman Chopper. Roman.
God Woo. You do not besmirch God Woo here. Okay? Exactly. Goofy. Have you seen The Killer? Have you seen A Better Tomorrow? Have you seen Hard Boiled? Have you seen Bullet in the Head? Have you seen the Red Cliff movies?
They were awesome.
This is not the place to besmirch God Woo. Go back and watch Hard Boiled again. Go back and watch it. And when the Golden Harvest versions come out in 4K, fingers crossed. I don't know if they can do it with new. Yeah. I mean, come on. I mean, goofy.
Unbelievable.
What's going on with the world, man?
I forgot to put my buzzer out, Rob. He's gotten lucky.
Where's that buzzer? I had to come back.
Yeah. Tim Hens. Let's Get Physical Media is the definitive physical media show. It's the creme de la creme. And then Smith says, I'd go even further. It's the creme de la creme de la creme. Miele. Deadpool has been ruined for me by Blake Lively. Come on. Kanto 007. Good evening from the UK. I was watching Alien Romulus last night, imported steelbook from the US, and it started to break up at 54 minutes. Anyone else see this? Happened in my second player too. I had no problems with my 4K, so probably your disc only. Haven't read anything about problems with the disc itself. So probably perhaps get an exchange with the disc, but you tested it on another player, which is always a good thing to do to see if the same mistake comes again. GA. I actually thought Wolfman, new movie by Lee Vanell, was good, but I'm in the minority. It was a more personal approach to the story that wasn't focused on the standard horror tropes. I heard it has 25 million budget. Yeah, it has a long way to go to make some money. Dickie Holmes. Fanatical Dragon says all those John Woo Golden Princess movies have never been probably transferred with the full film and Cantonese audio English subs. So fingers crossed we will finally get it. Tim Hens, Baby Girl was a disappointment. About as sexy and an erotic as a cheese sandwich. Have not seen Baby Girl yet. GA. UHD is rarely that high considering the pie chart that Rob always shows us. There must have been recent popular movies that sold well, like Alien Romulus. Yeah, certainly. Perhaps that pie chart was after Christmas and around Christmas. Of course, there are some snapshots to be made considering 4K. That's what probably was putting the 4K at the front of the pie chart. Joseph says, Germany tuning in. Always nice to see some fellow countrymen. And Eucalyptus says, Dietz is the Saul Goodman of physical media. Oh, I take that. Dickie Holmes, I'm excited about Mel's Heaven versus Hell movie. That sounds like the ultimate superhero movie.
Wait, let me interrupt you. Does that mean I'm Walter White? What does that mean? Just ask.
Yeah, considering the connection, could be Walter White then. Dickie Holmes, I'm excited about Mel's Heaven versus Hell movie. That sounds like the ultimate superhero movie to end all superhero movies. Doesn't he do The Passion of Christ, Resurrection 2? GA, what is Dieter's favorite comedy? That's tough to tell. I certainly would put in the top 10 Airplane. Definitely one. Galaxy Quest is one of my favorites. Fort Fairlane, certainly. So those types of movie. It wasn't 100 Beavers. That certainly it wasn't. Dan Smith, Dieter is German. Saarbrücken is so close to the French border. That is true. So you won't get the buzzer for it, but you are skating on thin ice then. You're skating on thin ice. Careful. John Nelson, 63. Hundreds of Beavers, fun movie that exceeded my expectations. Nice. BCH, considering J-Law, she's married now, Dieter. I know that. Because we had a little bit of this discussion getting her on the show. Cold, is Free Enterprise a B movie? You made a mistake here, Cold. The sentences should go, is Free Enterprise a movie? That's the question, not a B movie.
You know what?
Just saying.
I can say this. Whether it's an A movie, a B movie, whatever kind of movie
it
you
is
think
way,
Free Enterprise is,
way
better than Section 31.
31.
And it has William Shatner.
Definitely.
I will.
Well-
That's all you need to know. And by the way, it was made by a lot more talented people than any of the people that gave us the swill that is Section 31.
Paul Allen Brunotto, I'm not telling where I got the Star Wars Despecialized Blu-ray that I showed last week that he did send me. And then Smith said, Dieter, free enterprise is, for Dieter, free enterprise is much lower than B. Laugh out loud. Albinal, nobody knows from what vault or hellhole they got that Golden Princess movies out. Let's be patient, yeah? Let's be patient. Arrow will put out...
I called
Shout
him
will put out
Golden
something.
Harvest. I meant Golden Princess.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I stand corrected.
Yeah. I don't think you made that mistake, Rob. Did you make that mistake? No, I don't think so.
No, I did.
Can't remember.
I said Golden Harvest. I didn't say Golden Princess. I did. Let me
It is
correct.
the first one. It is the first one you go to immediately. Is Golden
Yeah.
Harvest.
So I'll
Tim
say that
Ed
on
says-
camera. It's Golden,
Yeah.
not Golden Harvest. It's Golden Princess. So I apologize.
Tim says Jennifer Lawrence and Rennie Harlan on the show would have Deed screaming. Certainly would. And we got a lot of love for Die Hard 2. Justin Toner. Die Hard 2 is good. Joseph, Dieter is right, considering Siskel and Ebert talking about Die Hard. They didn't like Die Hard. Condo 007, I too love Die Hard 2. And Tim Hens, love Die Hard 2, quality sequel. Then Smith, I thought if you could get J-Lo to the show, that'd be pretty good too. Yeah, we can talk about her if she will be in the Anaconda remake that they are doing. That would be nice. Xavier Phoenix, J-Law on this show would be epic. It certainly would. Dustin D, how are you guys doing out there in Los Angeles and Venture Country? Just a question, Rob. How is LA doing? Because I'm always seeing still there's fire burning here and there.
Look,
in the mountains.
LA has been gutted. LA is not going to be the same, maybe not ever. And I know a lot of people that lost everything. A lot of very talented, very people that came to LA and worked their whole lives and actually succeeded in doing what they wanted to do. And the things that you have here, whether it's a house, it represents work that has been done. And a lot of people spent 50 years working in the industry, and lost everything. And I don't know. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. I know that there's a lot of opportunists that want to, they're salivating to change the look of the city, and it's very sad, and I don't know what's going to happen, to be honest. Yeah. But LA is never going to be the same, and that's not hyperbole. It really isn't. I lived right next to the Altadena area that was decimated, and we were
I asked
up
you
there.
about your old home.
Yeah,
if it was affected.
For 7 years. I mean, and there was places that we went to all the time that just don't exist anymore, and it was such a great, diverse neighborhood. A lot of mom and pop businesses, a lot of small businesses. It wasn't like a big box retailer place, and there was a great dog park that we used to go to all the time, which was next to a community center, and a lot of parks. I mean, they're just not there. Yeah. And it's bad. I mean, it's bad. I don't know I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I know it's going to probably get very ugly. It's going to take a long time. I mean, it's going to take years and years and years. And I know that there's going to be a lot less construction workers who are going to be around to rebuild the city because they're all afraid to go to work. I know that. So who knows what's going to happen here? But hopefully it'll get better.
Didn't want to be a downer, but someone asked Dustin D asked in the live chat, and I wanted to.
No, they get hey, we can talk about everything here. I will say this. What happened to LA was worse than Section 31.
Okay. Uncle Jimmy, I have my family here and have them watching Let's Get Physical Media. Hopefully, Uncle Jimmy, not at gunpoint, Hopefully at their own choosing. Walter Whitewalker, as Rob is drooling over the masterpiece Invasion of the Bee Girls, just remember, Rob hates Return of the Jedi, Goonies, and The Last Crusade. Ron, Henrik, many documentaries, indies, foreign films I would have not sought out if it hadn't been for Siskel and Ebert. Pre-internet, they used their platform well. They were fair and even re-evaluated their past reviews. Nice. Huck's Pop Culture Cafe, digging all this physical media love. Reindeer Games is a great movie. Awesome. Major Chai Chai. Same here. I learned a lot about movies from Ebert. Most importantly, it's not what the movie is about, but how it's about. BCH, considering Rob, you showed the Al Pacino movie Sea of Love, correct? With Ellen Burstyn. And BCH said it would be a Netflix streaming movie now because Rob said those movies will be not made today. We had this super chat came in from Luis Feliciano. What are movies that you want to see enter the Criterion Collection this year? Of course, Armageddon and The Rock that they put out back in the day on Laserdisc. You know,
I'd like to see a 4K of all that jazz. They already put it out,
Yeah.
but I want a 4K of all that jazz.
Castle Grayskull. I watched Trash Gordon. What a trash movie. You're lucky I don't have the buzzer here, but it could be that you mean trash and you still
Wait a minute,
enjoyed it. I'm not sure.
did Castle Grayskull say flesh or flash?
Flash Gordon. The movie, Rob. Not the Flash. Not the Flash here. The Flash Gordon movie. But we had David Animal Guy and says Flash Gordon is awesome. Totally agree. Kervin, because Rob told us about when he gets boxes, the dogs are totally interested what is in it. So your dogs are more interested in physical media than the average person. So go figure.
Oh, man. You know what? Well, I can answer that.
Yeah.
My 4 dogs are better than the average person. How about that?
There we have it.
And you know what my dogs know? They know that when physical media comes in, they know I'm going to stack it on the island in the kitchen, and I'm going to open it up. They hear the crinkling, and they know that means I'm going to go right next door to the kitchen into our movie room where we have these big fluffy couches, and I'm going to take my crisis medicine blanket. I'm going to put it over me, and they get to come get themselves draped all over me however they want, and they will sit there with me and watch. They will watch whatever that I watch, and they love nothing more than to see new physical media come in, like Inglourious Bastards, where although they didn't like that so much because I kept getting up and down. I only actually got up once, but they didn't like the fact that I kept getting up or moving around with my remote controls. They don't like that. They like to get into a position and expect me to stay still. But I don't have, beautiful girls draping themselves all over me, and Elizabeth's always working. So, come on. It's all relative, buddy.
Kanto 007. Rob last week showed the Kino Lorber titles together, and we were wondering, considering some had the Paramount logo, but the Universal one didn't. And Kanto 007 says, Hard Target doesn't have the Universal logo on the Kino release either. And Kanto, that was actually the title that I was thinking about last week. Oh, we could have checked with Hard Target if the Universal logo was on the Kino Lorber spine. Secular Monk, am I the only one who found Anora too overrated? No, Eric Weber hates that movie with a fiery passion. He wants to take it down. But I had a great time. Let's see how the nominations will shake out for Anora. Barlord, Best Buy played, considering Robbie Williams, Millennium in their stores on repeat, circa 2000. I looked him up and checked him out. Nice. Hassan Chavez, Robbie Williams was huge everywhere except the US, correct? Signal Strength 5. Only reason I know Robbie Williams is because he had major disputes with his neighbor, Jimmy Page from Led Zeppelin. Always good to have some TMC stuff, Wixter, 5001, the marketing was terrible. And GA says, the concept seems dumb. Hard sell, exactly. The concept seems strange. Roman, how to watch movies with Bud Spencer and Terence Hill? Any specific any specific order. Well, Roman, those were movies really from my childhood, but I couldn't get you any specific order how to watch them. And at this age, they are not my taste anymore because they were really at a child's age where to watch them. But I have a worker colleague who is totally a big fan of their movies. GA, I loved Mikey Madison and Nora, didn't love the film as much. Dickie Holmes, as a Canadian, could all of you down in the States please stop liking Ryan Reynolds? Much obliged. Okay, not everyone is a fan of Ryan. Slice Night, here she is. Better Man bombed in the UK too. So lack of knowledge of Robbie Williams is not why it failed. The marketing just sucked. Trailer came across as a biopic, but with a chimpanzee. Yeah. Dan Smith, considering Free Enterprise. Tarantino loved it, but Dieter hated it. Once again, I did not hate Free Enterprise. For me to say I hate a movie, it would have really needed to attack me physically, probably, to say I hate a movie. I didn't hate Free Enterprise. Vixter, 5001. I really liked We Live in Time. Unfortunately, Victoria, I haven't seen it, but I will get back to you on that front. Channel Surf. Answers to Dickie Home. Isn't it great when you have the movies actually in your library when you want to see them? Exactly. Ian Crawford. People won't go cinema in the UK and see a film about Robbie Williams. He's totally not current. Hasn't been in UK for the last 20 years. Why would Yanks go see it? They don't know who he is, which we didn't. Walter White Walker. I love Kickboxer, but every time I think of it, I think of the parody scene in Hot Shots where they dip their hands in caramel and ice cream toppings. Me too, Walter Weiger, and it is a little bit of the same. It's a little bit far-fetched, but considering Nosferatu, and then he comes and he speaks something like, you need to sign the papers so I can get my Schloss Grünewald and think about what we do in the shadows. God damn it. Merely, Dieter would make a great Bond villain. Well, don't know about that. And Five Dot Toast added, I would relish Dieter's explanation of why James Bond is a douchey douche. Kevin G. Damn, Rob, you're a machine, considering Rob's been streaming for 6 hours, Midnight Metal, 2 hours later, me again on the tube. Paul and Bonotto, it's about time we see Clint Eastwood classic movies on 4K. Bill Barkley, New Killer movie was not bad. Me too. I quite enjoyed John Woo's only self-remake. Junior Jangles, the Lost ending is fantastic. People just cried too much. And then Smith says, there was no way to solve Lost because when it's been built up that much, no answer will be satisfying. Ecto 1701, Unbreakable is great. Split 2, Glass has its moments, but not that good. And we had a big discussion about Blade Runner, if Harrison Ford is a replicant or not. And here we have some statements. Dan Smith, if Deckard was a replicant, they should have made him tougher. My argument too. Let me just see. And he said the voiceover sucked. Some love, some hate the voiceover. Joseph says, Deckard doesn't seem as strong as the replicants. And Jackie was, Deckard as a replicant is not remotely appealing. David Animal Guy, I don't mind the narration. Video Hunter D, theatrical cut is the best. Okay. Miele. Okay, no. Uncle Jimmy. Uncle Jimmy says, I have love for Cambia, enjoy his show, and he gave the greatest gift of me, discovering Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Yeah, for me, actually.
Well, I'm back on John's show,
Yeah. Considering back in the Collider days. Dan Smith, Blade Runner. Director's cut is the best, the ending is better, and no voiceover. And Video Hunter D, considering Rob says, is not that good. Worst take, Blade Runner is a great movie. And Jim Alaska says, it's a great movie. It's more than triumphant. Okay. Five Star Toast. I think the Blade Runner debate kind of depends on which version you watched first. I saw Final Cut first and find the other versions unwatchable. Huh? Totally can see that. Hosea XC1. Campea was the first and is still here. Props to him. Certainly he was the one of the first. Hosea XCH continues. Well, The Rise of Skywalker is objectively a bad film. Exactly. And this was very interesting, Rob. Cinema, I've not seen this name in the live chat. Cinema
Rise
Force,
of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker is better than Section 31.
Okay, yeah, it is definitely. Yeah, Cinema Force. This was a nice one, Rob. Totally surprising for me. I didn't have seen this name in the live chat. Hi guys, thanks for showing off The Great Escape 4K from Arrow. I edited the documentary on the disc called Freedom Forged. Love your show and stay safe, but watch out for those Shermans. Nice to know. This came from Cinema Force. And Bo Edmund says, I love being here with all you and watching WrestleMania. Man, I have to wait another week. Bye, everyone. This was the live chat from last
Well,
week.
the previous writer who did the documentary for Great Escape, thanks for that. That's a great disc, by the way. I'm glad I got it. Yeah. And secondly, I take his advice. You keep your enemies, you keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. Hence, I do a show with a German.
Yeah, exactly. And my heart, Rob, goes out to the people, Not the Elon way,
Man, boy, we live in times,
we can't go 1 week with nothing happening to talk about.
Gosh, I feel that I feel like I live in strange times in that on one hand, Elon Musk is getting pilloried for doing something crazy on stage, but at the same time, American college students are calling for the death of all Jews. So, who are you going to trust? Who do you want to be with? All I know is I keep waiting for the Jewish conspiracy that runs the world. I just want my check. Just come on,
exactly.
Cut me in, make me a part of. I'm waiting to be a part of. I can dress up. I can pretend like I'm a Gentile. I can go anywhere. Please make me a part of the great Jewish conspiracy to take over the media and the world. I think I deserve it. I want it. I want to be part of it.
Especially that check. That big check.
I need the money. Don't I get some great stipend to at least buy more physical media? There's an order I want to place at Arrow. There's an order I want to place at Severin. I had a Severin order. It's like $600. I don't have $600. I want to place an order. Come on, Zog. Where's the Zionist-occupied government conspiracy people? Send me some money. We don't have UAPs. We're disclosure. We're in terrible times. We have nobody to pick fruit in America. The inflation's going to go up.
Nobody's
the tariffs.
What's
going to? By the way, what's going to happen? The tariffs. All the discs that are manufactured in America, prices are going to go up. What are we going to do?
Certainly. So,
I'm telling you, our brand of humor is not going to fly very much longer.
I don't know. So do we still have time to go back to good stuff?
Oh, why not? Sure.
Well, let me put one out here. Okay, we'll show you the card.
Let me go full frame on this.
An idea, probably.
Okay, got it. Penultimate episode of Star Trek.
Okay.
All Our Yesterdays. That's Zarabeth. That's Mariette Hartley. Yep.
I need lights, Rob. I need lights. Okay, first question, Rob. What was the machine
the Atavachron
used to send? Yes, that's right.
You know what, though? Can I just say it should have been called the Avacatron. It's called the Atavachron, but even as a kid, I was like, why isn't it called the Avacatron? It's the Atavachron.
Correct.
It could have been the Avacatron because that device is sending all the inhabitants of the planet Sarpedon back into their own past, so they can the star Beta Niobe is going to go Nova.
I have no idea. And you don't get extra points for answering before I finish the question. That will not get you any extra points,
Yeah, but it makes me my already inflated
it makes you
ego
happy.
feel
Yeah,
better.
yeah.
You know, especially look, anything Star Trek that I can take great pleasure from this week, I'm going to, because this is the week that Section 31 came out.
Yeah. And this was a great one. We already finished it before it was even finished. So, second one, Rob. Sarabeth was banished back in time because two of her family members conspired to kill who? Sarabeth was banished back in time.
You know what? I don't know the name of the I don't know the name of the dictator. I got to go multiple choice on this.
Okay. A. Sorn. B. Sorkan.
Sorkan.
C.
Yeah.
Correct. Multiple choice.
I forgot his name. What can you do?
Third one. What planet was Sarabeth home?
Sarpedon.
What? Correct. Sarpedon.
I already said that.
How far into the past was Sarabeth sent? How far into the past?
Come on. Okay. Well, she went back to the ice age of their planet. I don't know how many years. I guess I have to go multiple choice.
They're professionals here, Rob. A, 1,000 years. B, 5,000 years. C, 50,000 years.
5,000 years.
That is correct, Rob. That is the correct answer. And the last one, Rob. Mariette Hartley, who played Sarabeth on Star Trek, also did a series of Polaroid commercials with whom? She did the Polaroid commercials with whom other actor?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Mariette Hartley, who played Sarabeth on Star Trek.
Give me multiple choice. That's not a Star Trek.
Multiple choices. James Garner.
James
Coburn.
It was James Garner.
There you go, Rob. There you go. It's correct, Rob. It's correct.
You know what's funny? I actually knew that. I was going to say James Garner, but I'm like, I don't know if that's true. Got to go multiple choice.
The other ones were multiple choice were James Coburn and James Doohan. Okay.
No, it was James Garner.
Can you tell me a little bit about the episode itself?
Okay, so this is the second to the last episode of the original series. And the Enterprise goes to the planet Sarpedon because its star, which I believe is Beta Niobe, is going to go supernova. And they go there because there's like this rich civilization, you know, and they maybe to rescue people or whatever, I forget. And they end up beaming down into this library. It's a library, and they meet a guy named Mr. Atoz. Mr. A to Z, because it's a library. Atoz. And what's really interesting is the people of this planet, they don't know that there's, in order to escape when the star goes nova, it's going to destroy Sarpedon. So they create a machine called the Atavachron, and everybody gets to pick which place they're going to go back to, so they can go live in the. It'd be like if you wanted to go live in Belle Epoque, France. So you get to go back into the past to live your life out there. But some people, when they created this technology, there was like dictators and Zarabeth, when they had this technology, because the technology's, I guess, been around for a while. So a bad man sent her back into the past to punish her. So this technology's been around for a while. But the thing is, you have to get prepared. They have to prepare you to go back through time. And it's got some really cool like effects. There's great production design because you basically look at physical media. You look at discs, silver discs of physical media. You put them on a machine, and it shows you images from the past that you might want to go back to. So it's like a library of physical media. And then they prepare you, and Mr. Atoz, his many different incarnations, will prepare you and send you back to the past that you want to go into. Well, accidentally, McCoy and Spock wind up 5,000 years in Sarpedon's past, and Kirk winds up into the Salem witch trials because Mr. Atoz throws them back into the past, not knowing that they're not from Sarpedon. And so Kirk is in one past, and Spock and McCoy are in another. And Spock reverts. He starts to revert back to the way he was 5,000 years ago, before Vulcans had applied logic and the teachings of Surak were applied to their civilization. But what's really interesting is Spock gets it on with Zarabeth, with Mariette Hartley. Boom, chicka, boom, bow. And they wrote, A.C. Crispin wrote 2 stories, 2 Star Trek novels, one called Yesterday's Son, about their son. Spock and Zarabeth have a child named Zar. But Spock doesn't know this, not in the episode, because he goes back into the future. But poor Mariette Hartley's left alone to raise her son Zar. But he comes back in 2 very good Star Trek novels written by Anne Crispin.
Would you say it's a good episode, Rob?
You know what? I really like that episode because, first of all, DeForest Kelley and Leonard Nimoy get to do a lot. First of all, Mariette Hartley. Mariette Hartley is a hottie, but she's like the girl next door. She's kind of like this woman. You so love her. Like, everybody wants to marry her. She's like the kind of girl you want to marry. And, of course, Spock falling in love with her is not hard to – it's not a stretch.
Yeah.
And then you get to see there's a lot of great actors in the Kirk section when he might as well be in the Witchfinder General or something when they think he's consorting with demons or whatever. But then he ends up meeting people that were also sent back into the past from the future. So they're like, come with me. It's got some great character actors. You're a witch. It's good. It's not a great. It's a good third season Star Trek episode, so it's not great. But I always liked that episode when I was a kid because you got time travel, romance.
Yeah.
You've got a nova. The star blows up at the end, and you can see the Enterprise scooch away from the star exploding, which is always great. Poor Sarpedon. Plus, it's got a planet called Sarpedon. And you know what? That is more creative. That's a more creative planet name than any instance of anything that we saw in Star Trek Section 31. And you know what? If you went to anyone that worked on Star Trek Section 31 and you asked them if they'd ever heard the word Sarpedon or Mr. Atoz or the Atavachron or Zarabeth, they would all say, what are you talking about? That's why Section 31 exists. So there you go.
Exactly. And, at the beginning asking, why did we do the show? Because 3 hours, because I don't have early shift tomorrow.
That's right.
That's why we did the show Saturday.
Also, Tom Jr. Jackson sends in a super chat and says, "To Live and Die in LA should be on 4K."
The 2.
You know what the problem with that is? 200 Watt Studios saying, no, it shouldn't. No.
Probably come in a little bit later.
I think we are all caught up. So let me just check.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. I believe we're all caught up. Oh, no. Stubble McShave says, Rob saying that True Noir is 10,000 times better than Section 31 doesn't really say anything about True Noir's quality. A thing could be 1,000,000 times better and still be crap. You're right, but True Noir isn't. Although the great science fiction writer Theodore Sturgeon did say something about like 95% of everything is crap or something like that. I forget what he says, but he also said there ain't no such thing as a free lunch. But you can't remember everything. So, yeah, let's bring this show to a close, my friend. How do these short shows turn into 3-hour romps?
I have no idea, Rob. We are thinking, we don't have that much to show. Probably an easy stream, but here we go. We had a long section where you informed us about transferring a movie.
That's true. It's true.
Which was very, very nice to hear. So, on my end, jede Person, die du triffst, hat eine Geschichte zu erzählen, die du noch zu hören hast. Alles, was du tun musst, ist zuhören.
Every person you meet has a story to tell that you have yet to hear. And all you have to do is listen. And that said, I want to thank everybody for generously supporting this chat channel via super chats and tips. Thanks for watching this show. You guys make it all possible. I want to thank all of our great moderating staff, beginning with Tom Jr. Jackson and people like Justin Toner and Lord Toth and everybody who watches this. So thank you all for that. I very much appreciate having you all here. And, we'll keep physical media alive. Watch Twin Flicks and watch their comparisons of different discs. They do a really good job. And, we got to get Elliot Cohen on this show. And Damn Fool Idealistic Crusade, we got to get him on the show too. So, hello, dear viewer. We're going to get hello, dear viewer. We're going to get Elliot going on the show to talk about, Criterion's got a banger slate in 2025. So maybe we can get him to come talk about that. Walter White Walker says, "Go Bills." I mean, what's going to happen? You think the Bills are going to beat the Chiefs? Are they battling it out right now? Are we going to meet it? Or are we going to meet it? I don't even know what I'm saying. But we'll see. I'd kind of like the Bills to win. I want to see the Bills win because we have a longtime viewer of this channel who's had to deal with the heartbreak of the Bills. I would like to see this year. Plus, we'd hear less about Taylor Swift. So, anyway, on that note, we're going to end this show. We're going to take it home. We'll see you next week for Let's Get Physical Media. And for those of you, please go subscribe to truenoir.co, not com, truenoir.co. Look at it, to listen to True Noir, it opens up a whole new world of names and dates and historical connections. I mean, that's what we're here to do. We're here to bring you the great words of mystery writers of America, Max Allen Collins. He's the Grand Master. And there you go. And who would have thought I could have tied William Shatner's Incubus, the only film shot in Esperanto, to True Noir, which was Incubus, shot by Conrad Hall, who also shot Road to Perdition, which was also written by Max Allen Collins, and Bill Shatner, star of Free Enterprise. Woohoo! Yeah! See you guys later. All right. That was a fun show.